I'm subconscious. Don't tell me, man. Don't tell me, man.
Yo, you know you are. You accept it.
Yeah.
You know you get to throw information and want to step to everybody.
Man, so let's do it like this. First and foremost, I rise giving praise to the great God of the universe, the creator, Allah. And that's just the universal creator. You know you've been created. You ain't just wake up. Your heart ain't just start beating. Some force keep it going, and you ain't got nothing to do with it. We call that universal creator Allah. I give praise to Allah. I give honor to his noble, illustrious prophet Noble Drew Ali. We're going to get right into it. Family, welcome to another edition of Moorish World TV. People be saying I'm moving out, darling. Man, I be getting excited, man. Let me first say this. Listen. Before I bring my esteemed guests on, my good brother Zion Lexx. Before I bring them on, hold on. Let me calm down. Before I bring them on, I want to say this. First and foremost, this is really about the information. And Moorish World TV do not promote the circus of Sinetta. We don't promote that, you know. But I watch Sinetta, and I hope you do too, because we need to know what's going on in the games that's being played. So check this out. As I'm watching Sinetta trying to position himself for more debates. See, let me say this. Jabari, I think he's a good brother. I don't know him. Because I don't know him, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say he's a good brother. And I kind of feel him through the wire. You know what I mean? I think he's all right, brother. From what I've seen. I can go by what I've seen. But now let's examine this for a minute. Sinetta is falling off. The only way Sinetta rise became really in stone was through controversy and debates. That's it. Sinetta have established itself with controversy, discord, confusion, and debates. So my good brother Zion Lexx, good brother Jabari, they come together to compare information and to see what is most relevant and most practical for our people. Now, Sinetta, he's going to parlay that into a debate and take you to the bank. That's what he's trying to do. So when I seen my brother Zion Lexx do his thing, but every time that I click on Black News, Dead News 102, I see that he's promoting that Jabari did his thing. That's good for your opinion, but I see that the reason why you promote it is because you want to cause the confusion so you can cash out. And at the same time, my brother Lexx is not getting his fair shake. So let me tell you this. I want everybody to know, Zion Lexx did not reach out to me. Let's be clear. I want Sinetta to know, I want Jabari to know, and I want all the Hoteppers to know. Zion Lexx did not reach out to me. In fact, I seen the video and I formed my own opinion, and I was just going to do some commentary concerning the video when I seen the performance of Zion Lexx demonstrating his portion. And I call it a performance because he did his thing. That's my opinion. I mean, I don't like Jabari, I dislike or hate Jabari. He did his thing. And I was going to do commentary on it. I was doing a show and I was doing commentary on certain issues around the internet, and that one jumped out to me. But I want y'all to know that the brother didn't reach out to me. In fact, after I was going to do the commentary show, he said to me, he said, "Thank you, brother." And that was it. And then I said to him, "Brother, you're welcome to come on if you want to." I want people to know that that's how that went. This is not no propaganda scam. This is not no scheme. This is not no Sinetta scheme. This is not no Sinetta TV. No. And so when I offered him that, the reason why is because I seen that he wasn't getting the fast shake. And I will give anybody the opportunity to express themselves when I see that the scales are unbalanced. When the scales are imbalanced, man, it's my duty to say, hold up, let my brother say his piece. Let my brother speak his piece. Mind you, at this time, I'm on the side of my brother Zion Lexx because I've seen what happened in the interview. That's it. Information, that's it. So I want people to know that. So Brother Jabari, if you're watching, let me tell you, Zion Lexx did not initially reach out to me for a propaganda scam, for a propaganda scheme. He doesn't do that. I don't know him to do that. In fact, after the interview, Sinetta called me and told me to watch his show. He told me to watch his show because he wanted me to see the response that Jabari had for Zion Lexx. So, no problem. I'll watch your show. But now watch this. As I watch his show, I'm going to bring my brother in and I'm going to give him the floor. But as I watch his show, I see my brother Jabari. He's going in saying that Zion Lexx is lying about this, that, and the other. And we're going to get into that in a minute. So as I see that the scales are unbalanced again, Sinetta trying to control the narrative, I say, okay, we got to revisit this. Once again, family, I initiated. We have to revisit this. Moorish World TV because Sinetta called me and said, why did I let him lie on my platform? I said, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? The brother demonstrated, he came with his idea of what happened at the debate. That's it. So when he went live last night, I goes on the platform and I began to say, okay, after I got in touch with Zion Lexx, I said, okay, Zion Lexx will respond to this because these accusations was absurd. But this is what the Hotep will come back and say to me. Now listen to this. Jabari, I hope you watch it. Brother, is this the type of energy that you bring to the conscious community? If this is not the type of energy that you bring to the conscious community, brother, man, leave this guy alone, man. Or fix him. Don't leave him alone. I'm not my bad. Look at this. Tahaka Bay, get your BA. You see, we're only sharing information, comparing information. You understand? We're sharing information. And this what Sinetta say. Come on, man. And then when people say things like that, and somebody talk about ready to put hands on you, then you start talking about, man, I got children. Why are you talking violence? Man, you're talking crazy. But with that, I just wanted to open up with that, family. I want to let y'all know how we get to where we're at now. And with that, I want to formally bring in my good brother, Zion Lexx. Zion Lexx, are you there, my brother?
Absolutely. Salute, salute, salute.
All right, my brother. Go ahead and introduce yourself as if as not that you need one, but let the people know who you are, my brother.
All right, here we go. Well, first and foremost, giving all honor and praise to the God of my ancient forefathers, our ancient forefathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, without whom I would be nothing. Let's set that clear for the record. I want to thank you to Hawker Bay for allowing myself to once again tell the truth, but the truth on your show. May God help me. Thank you very much for opening up the platform and allowing me to have an equal voice to be heard. That's very important in the community. Whenever we get to a point where we are isolating communities and not allowing everyone a fair shake, a fair and equal balance, then it points towards a weakness. It points towards a weakness. What do I mean by that? If Jabari is allowed to do 5 to 6 shows about me on Sonata TV, and I have only been on Sonata TV once to do a show about Jabari, then clearly there's something mathematically wrong with that. Let me bring that back and rewind that.
That's right.
Jabari has been allowed to do 5 or 6 shows already on Sonata TV to address me, and I have only been allowed to do 1. There is something mathematically wrong with that. Now, before I signed into your show tonight, I said, let me look over the moral system in Kemet, just to be sure that at least that brother is moving within the sphere of thought that he says is his foundation. Because at the end of the day, how upset can I get at a man when he believes that he is doing the right thing according to his moral standards? So the first thing that I did is I looked at the judgment hall, the judgment scene of Ma'at. And one of the things that caught my attention immediately was them scales. What was so important to me about those scales is that the entire system of Ma'at represents truth, justice, order, but above all, balance. Balance. So I state again for the record, if Brother Jabari is allowed to do 5 shows about me, mention me, bring my name up. I don't care that it's a subtopic. It's still a shot. It's still an opportunity for him to bring my name up. My name is on videos that he's on 5 or 6 times already. And I have only been allowed to do 1. I'm going to say right now, authoritatively, that cannot be Ma'at. Be truth. That cannot be justice. That cannot be order. And that definitely cannot be balance. Can I get an amen on that?
Amen, my brother. Absolutely.
All right. So we're gonna do this in the right order. We're gonna revisit briefly my sit down with Jabari, and then we're gonna get to the accusations, because I believe in doing things orderly. So we actually had a phone call last night, people. As the live stream is on and they're showing clips of me making statements on your show, which I don't have a problem with. I stand on what I said. What are we doing here? What are we repeating it for? What am I running from? I stand on everything I said. All right. With that being said, I get on Sonata TV because I was told I was going to have a sit down with Jabari. I was told that this sit down was going to be a preamble, if you will, that would lead to the actual debate. Basically, it's almost like a weigh-in. Even though we're scheduled to have an official weigh-in, nonetheless, we are promoting the debate. We weren't actually putting topics on the table that we were going to visit in whole during the debate. So obviously that would involve picking topics. I never got a call as to what the topic would be. So my assumption was the topic would be that we're going to touch on something, a statement that I made or that he made with regard to why we even need a debate. The first thing that Jabari says to me, and allow the people to witness it, he says, I have a bone to pick with Zion Lexx about his book. Automatically in my mind, I'm saying, whoa, 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 whoa. Because Brother Jabari knows this. And I would like for him to, just as he can go on Sunday the show and enunciate the things that he's heard me said, I hope that you can enunciate this as well. Before me and Jabari sat down on Sunday the TV, we had a series of phone conversations, man to man, brother to brother, which is why I was able to come out of those conversations and speak in a very good way about the brother. I definitely spoke in a very good way about the brother. I didn't try to downplay the brother. I spoke very good about the brother in private and in public after our conversation. In our conversation, he said to me, Brother Zion Lexx, I want a copy of your book. I want your book. I said, I will give you a free copy. A couple of days passed, and Jabari called me back. He said, hey, Brother Zion Lexx, where's the book? And I said, well, my good brother, I know that I volunteered you a free PDF copy of my book that you can view online, but there was a reason why you didn't get that book immediately. He said, well, what was that reason? I said, well, it's just good gesture that if somebody as an author would suggest that they would give you their book for free, and you're also an author, I was kind of waiting to see what would you do. Would you offer me that same courtesy and same respect? So I'm still going to give you my book, but I just wanted to see if reciprocity meant something to you since you stand on my eye. And he said, oh, okay, all right, I get it. So I'm going to give you my book, you're going to give me your book. I said, okay. That never happened. I never gave him my book. He never gave me his book. But when I got to his house, he had my book. Something is mathematically wrong. Because he was able to look at my book throughout the course of, I don't know how long he even had it. And I'm sitting there and I never read his book. Automatically, people, this is not my art. And I'm going by his system. He said to me, he gave me his word because he spoke it, so I'm taking his word on it. I'm going to give you my book, and then you give me your book. It was going to be a fair exchange. That exchange never took place. Then he says to me, but Zion Lexx, how come you don't know that I already had your book? I said on Sunday the TV that I had your book. Brother Jabari, I don't care what you said on Sunday the TV. You know I never gave you my book. So if you already have my book, why didn't you say, Brother Zion Lexx, I have your book for you? You can come pick it up. Come all the time, people. These people will never come out where I'm at to have a sit down. In fact, I've already asked Sarnetta, and he laughed it off, you know, because we all know that's not going to happen. But I'm a warrior in the realest sense of the term. I go anywhere, anytime, any place. And I stand on 10 toes in the good and gutter, in the dust. It don't matter. So with that being said, I told Brother Jabari when we spoke last night, I said, my brother, I chose not to say it on camera at the time because I did not want to deflect from the direction of the conversation, but I definitely feel ambushed walking into that dialogue. Because if you have my book, and the understanding was that we would exchange books so that I have yours and you have mine, and we can both go over it and find a point of contention and then come to the table and deal with it, you never did that. So I already walked into the event and it was ambushed. And he said, you know what, Zion Lexx, I can understand why you feel ambushed now that you put it that way. And that's real talk. I'm not adding to his word. I'm not taking away. He said out of his own mouth last night, Brother Zion Lexx, I can understand now why you would feel ambushed. I understand what you're saying. I wish you would have said it that night. Maybe we could have skipped it then. My apologies. And we moved on from that. So the point being, that brother took the accusative from the beginning, which should have never happened. Number one, I've been in the community debating for the longest now. Jabari, you got 30 years of scholarship, but you ain't got no goddamn belt in this community. Let me say that again. Brother Jabari, although you may have 30 years of scholarship in Kemet, as you say, you don't got no goddamn belt or title or win or W in the conscious community. Therefore, you don't take the accusative. You don't take the initiative to get on the accusative. I get on that. I should have been the one to do that. But you know what? My humility said, you know what? Let it ride. What transpired? Instead of dealing with the information I present in the book, which would have been the scholarly way of dealing with it, Brother Jabari comes to a set of images and says, I've contacted the author of the blog, which I believe a table, i.e. an image in your book, comes from, and that author says he did not give anyone permission to use that. I'm not sure if people are understanding what's going on right now. I'm not even sure if people understood what was going on in that moment. That was the most telltale sign and deflecting I have ever seen in my life. Rather than deal with the information I'm actually presenting in the book, he's pulling out images and pointing towards whether or not they belong to me. Brother Jabari, in the realest sense of the term, me. And I expected more from you. And I told him that, straight up. I expected a lot more from you because you said you were solid. God damn it. When I sat down with Shaka Amos, I had my book with me. Professor Smalls opened up my book and looked at it. Ancient Cameron Trial. At it. Shaka never talked about my book. So me and Shaka, we have our issues, but at the end of the day, I got to put more respect on him now, in retrospect. Because he didn't even go so low. He did not have to say, we're going to discredit your character. We're going to discredit your contribution. No. He dealt with the information I presented. That's scholarly work. Brother Jabari spent the greater half of his dialogue with me arguing about whether or not images in my book belong to me. Did we not see this already play out on camera with Brother Garfield? And more importantly, did we already not see how this did not work in the favor of Brother Garfield? So what did you think? You thought you had a better way? Apparently so. Because even Garfield didn't contact any owners. He didn't go to any authority. Well, goddamn, Jabari, you goddamn right I called you Agent Like. Because your behavior was agent-like in that moment. That you could look at a black man and tell him, I have contention with your work. So much so that I found parts of it that made me go and deal with the oppressor rather than deal with you. And people actually so stupid, rather than call him out on it, oh, Jabari giving him that work. What work you actually giving me? At the end of the day, people already saw my presentation on how to deal with that. I already proved during my sit down with Brother Garfield that every image in my book was from public domain, i.e. free use, which according to the law of the land, I had no responsibility whatsoever to cite it legally. Now people could argue against the moral responsibility, and that's another topic. But we're talking about copyright infringement, which involves the use of an image that may belong to someone, that may have been created by someone else. But even notwithstanding that point, let's touch on it briefly. If somebody is writing a book and they go to a public domain website where they can get images for their book because that person is not an artist, they don't draw themselves, they have every legal right to do so. Using an image online that's public domain does not discredit your work at all. A lot of people do it. A lot of the great master teachers do it. In fact, wait till you see the debate with myself and Brother Jabari come October. Because I have a list of all the so-called master teachers in the community that use images that never belonged to them, that came from the works of others that they never cited. So if we're going to be petty, I'm going to be super king petty. Trust me on that. Mark my words on that. With that being said, let's move on the direction of the dialogue. So we want to get to the points of contention. The Kemetic community is running around pushing the propaganda that's coming from the House of Consciousness that Zion Lexx lost his sit down to Brother Jabari. If we go point to point, the first thing I'm going to ask is, on what point did I lose? What did Brother Jabari bring out that I did not murder him on? In fact, I led the questioning right after he mentioned my book. And the very first question I asked him was relating to whether or not the 10 Commandments was taken from 8 of the 42 negative confessions of Ma'at, something that Brother Jabari is on camera saying is the truth. Brother Jabari said, camera that 8 of the 42 negative confessions are the foundation of the 10 Commandments. So I said, can you demonstrate that before the people? Can we see it? He said, sure. And he began to open a book. After opening the book, he handed me a King James Bible and asked me, do I accept it? And I critiqued it because it is not the standard authority on the Hebrew literature. The Hebrew is. So I told him, guess what we're going to do? I'm going to read for the people the English King James Version that you gave me. But because I'm also speaking to a Hebrew audience that's fluent in the original language that the Bible was spoken in, I'm also going to read it in Hebrew for clarity, brother. So that when you come with the okie doke of what King James said, I'm going to checkmate your ass on what the Hebrew said. And that's exactly what we saw play out. And what was curious and odd to me was that he allowed me to read 6 commandments straight without stopping me at the first 2. Brother Jabari said 8 of the 10 commandments was taken from the 42 negative confessions. But he only stopped me at commandment 6 and asked me to explain. What about the earlier ones? Maybe people slow and stupid. Let me slow it down and rewind it for those that might be super slow in the Kemetic community. Brother Jabari said, can you read the 10 commandments? I said, sure. I'm going to read it in English and Hebrew. Something that apparently you can't even do with the Medunetta. Because what you should have done in demonstrating that something came from the Medunetta, you should have been able to open up chapter 125 in the Per Em Heru, the book of the coming forth by day, and pull out the 42 negative confessions and hone in on, circle in on, and focus on the 8 that you said we stole. And you should have been able to read it from the Medunetta, since you said you were a teacher in it, since you said you speak it, since you said you practice it, and you teach it. So who was the real teacher in that moment? Because I didn't just go to the okey-doke English and tell you what King James and his authorities said. I opened up the original Hebrew. Something that when you go back and look at the video, just look at Brother Jabari's face. A couple of people in the community already made memes on the face that Jabari made. The internet is undefeated. The internet is undefeated. Look at his face in that moment. Look at his face as I'm reading the Hebrew. His jaw is dropped. He don't know what's going on. He didn't expect that. So automatically from the gate, checkmate. I neutralized the entire argument by bringing out the original Hebrew. His argument was already centered on what King James said. And I already knew that. Because coming into any dialogue, I study my opponent meticulously. Meticulously. So I already knew that Kemetic priest Jabari was going to hand me a King James Bible and talk about plagiarism. So I already knew how to neutralize that argument. We're going to pull out the Hebrew. Period. Shut him down from the gate. And as y'all saw, right after I gave my explanation, he wanted to move on to a totally different topic. He didn't even want to talk about plagiarism no more. So from the gate, my people, my brother, put your mic on mute. Thank you, brother. So from the gate, he was unable to prove plagiarism because Zion Lexx, who is not just a speaker and a reader of the Hebrew language, who is a teacher of the Hebrew language, was able to neutralize the entire argument simply by going to the original Hebrew. Something that I've always told the Hebrews in the community, all you need to do to deal with the idea of plagiarism coming from Kemet, neutralize the entire argument by focusing on what the original Hebrew said. As we all know, things get lost in translation, and therein lies a lot of confusion. So Brother Jabari and a great deal of the Kemetic community feels that the Torah, the 10 Commandments, was taken from Ma'at But a lot of these fools is reading the 1611 King James Bible. A lot of these guys have never, ever put themselves in a position to say, you know what? Let me study Hebrew. Because that's what real scholars do. Don't you know that if you speak about the sacred literature in Kemet, every single master teacher is going to ask you one simple question initially. The first question they're going to ask you, do you read the Medunetta? That's what Son Jetty asked me on stage at the Kemetic War Conference. Why was that question necessary for him to ask? And he had every right to ask it, by the way. Because if you cannot read the sacred language in a literature, or if you cannot read the language in a literature of which you're critiquing, your entire critique is subjective because it's based on the thoughts and opinions of someone else who can read it. How do you know that what they saw is accurate and true? You can't read it for yourself. Neutralize the entire argument by showing their deficiency in the language. If you can't even read the original Hebrew language, how can you have any contention with anything said in the original text? When your entire argument is subjective because it's based on someone who actually can read the text in Hebrew. Something you can't do. But I take things to a different level. So what have I been doing in the last year and a half? I've been learning the Medunetta. So much so that I'm beginning to put a little bit more respect on some of the values coming out of Kemet. Because I do see a great amount and vast amount of wisdom in it. And should I be ashamed to say that? Should I be afraid to say that? No, Zion Lexx. Dare you not say that anything coming from Kemet is great? That's pseudo. And I'm never going to go on record doing no crazy shit like that. I always put for the record I'm an objective scholar. Objective means that we critically look at the entire picture. And we take what's good and we throw out what's bad. We're not going to act like Kemet wasn't a great society. We're not going to do that. At least not with me. We're going to put respect on their contributions on a whole. Do we negate? Because we put in respect on their contributions, does that negate the fact that they should stink? Absolutely not. Because they should heavily stink. But to go so far as to discredit the contribution of a person just because of some points of contention shows a scholastic weakness in yourself. And at this moment, I'm also speaking to Brother Jabari, because the example and correlation I just gave is exactly what he did on Sarnetta. Rather than dealing with the information I presented in my book, which would have been the more scholarly thing to do, he focuses on images and questions my authority to use them in the book. Oh, he smashed his book. Really? Have you or Garfield sufficiently or effectively opened my book and proved that anything I wrote in the book was plagiarized? I want y'all to understand the magnitude of what's going on in the conscious community and how much they shit sink and how deep this hypocrisy goes. You got a brother in the Amun-Ra squad called Wujawu. Oh shit, Zion Lexx, here we go. Jubaru, Wujawu, whatever his name is, from the Amun-Ra squad. He wrote a book on the Egyptian language, the Medunetta. It was found out by Team Osiris, Brother Kansu, well-respected brother in the community, Brother Ngozi, former member of the Amun-Ra squad. Let's not forget, they found out that Wujawu's entire book was plagiarized word for word. So much so that this motherfucker copied the errors. Are y'all hearing me? The man plagiarized the book so much so that he copied the errors. You don't get more plagiarized than that. But y'all want to take the images in my book and put me on trial. Did you do that with Wujawu from the Amun-Ra squad? No, you did not, because y'all full of shit. Did you put Wujawu on trial for plagiarizing the work of a white man who wrote a book entitled Middle Egyptian Grammar that Wujawu from the Amun-Ra squad plagiarized word for word, line for line. And the videos are still up. Go to Team Osiris on YouTube and look at the video. They literally hold up Rujabu's book. And they hold up Middle Egyptian Grammar, the book by the white man. And they show you that he copied word for word. Where was Brother Garfield in that dialogue? Where was the House of Consciousness in that dialogue? Where was Ma'at in that dialogue? Let's take a brief intermission, my brother. I want you to chime in on what I just shared. No sound, no sound, no sound.
Oh, my bad, my bad. Bro, I was traveling with you. As we say in our Moorish Science Temple, you know, we be traveling. So I was traveling with you in thought. And I was just looking at the point that you was making about Ma'at. There is no balance with HOK Sinetta. What Sinetta is trying to do and always been trying to do ever since Polite walked up to the first Hebrew in New York City was to try to conjure up controversy that can automatically turn into ching ching. That's it. There is no balance there. So look, after this, he's going to be hot. He's going to go again. Then he's going to say, I'm going to leave it alone. And then he's going to go again. And he's going to try to gain momentum and bring forth interest. But if you're looking for Ma'at, that's why I call them Hoteppers. See, it's one thing to respect what somebody believes, but it's another thing to respect what somebody say they believe. They don't really believe that. I don't know about Jabari because I don't know him that well. As you say, Jabari don't have no wins because Jabari haven't been around in this form of the quote-unquote conscious community. So I don't know him that well. But now the rest of them, Seti, Shaka, Reggie, man, they don't want no balance. Man, look, they trying to find out how. I don't think Shaka is. I think Shaka just a little out there. I think he's just a little out there. But the rest, Reggie is just, I mean, he like the little bus guy. But he like the little bus guy. But Sinetta, man, he trying to find a way to take it to the bank. He trying to find a way to take it to the bank. That's it. And when he discovered Jabari, only thing he see is taking it to the bank. So I'm going to put this out there. If I was going to debate Jabari, HOK could not pay me a check. You got to cut me in as partner. Let me invest. Let me invest in the venue. Let me invest in the sound system. Let me invest in the chairs. Let me invest. And we break bread. I'm telling you, when I got a show on here where as though, because I know they're not balanced. They are off the top, they're going to be imbalanced. You know, when I had a show on here, they was trying to get me to debate, what's the brother name? The brother from Boston. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I can't think of his name right now because he's been off the scene. He's been doing his thing. He's been doing the real work. And I give him a shout out to that. He's been doing the real work. But anyway, they tried to get me to debate this brother, man. And man, come on, man. I said, look, only way I debate, let me put my bread up and let me invest. They ain't want to do that. They ain't want to do that. You know what I mean? Put my bread up. We can debate. But now, let me address the crowd real quick. Jim Jones. Why I want to be Sinetta? Why do I want to be Sinetta, Jim Jones? Your name Jim Jones, and I want to be Sinetta. Jim Jones, stop playing. Your name Jim Jones in the chat, and I want to be Sinetta. Man, you killing me with that. Man, yeah, Sankofa Black Man, that's right. Sankofa. You know what I mean? Shout out to Sankofa because he ain't got time for Black News 102 at this point in time. I see him traveling around doing work. I see him on MWTv. Shout out to the brother. You know, but this should never be personal. It should never be personal. But when Sinetta gets involved, it gets personal because Sinetta trying to take it to the bank. So I say if anybody get into a debate situation, man, look for a percentage of the revenue and see how far it go. See how far I go. Ask for a percentage of a revenue instead of a check, and that's how far I go. We can get to some balance, Mahat. You believe in Mahat? Let's walk away with this thing balanced. Ain't gonna happen. You know what I mean? And look, let me say this again. I want to say that Zion Lexx did not come to me to use Moorish World TV as an outlet. I was showing respect and giving him honor for what I seen on Black News 102. He wasn't even scheduled to be on the show. I was doing the show without him. I was doing commentary. And he thanked me for honoring that. And I said, whoa, brother, you can come on the show if you want to. And that's how that happened. He wasn't seeking no notoriety. He wasn't seeking no fame. He didn't come over here for some get back. It didn't happen like that. So I wanted to say that again because I know how them hoteppers do. Them hoteppers say, oh yeah, he gonna put Zion Lexx. It didn't happen like that. I seen what I seen. I respected it. I liked it. And I'm like, man, I gotta talk about this. Maybe people ain't see how he mopped the floor with my brother Jabari. That's just symbolic. That's just symbolic. But now I want to get to the meat of what Jabari was saying. Y'all with me, family? I want to get to the meat of what Jabari was saying. Jim Jones, go back into your profile, change your name, and before you say I try to be like Sinetta, just change your name. You already imitating somebody. Brother, this is me for real. If you come to Baltimore, this is me. If you see me in New York, this is me. I don't know where you're from, Jim Jones, but you're not Jim Jones. I mean, this is not this. Be yourself, not somebody else. You're not Jim Jones. I mean, so look. Anyway, let me say this. So he made some statements. Jabari made some statements, and the reason why it got me involved into some of these statements is because Sinetta called me and asked me why did I let Zion Lexx lie on my platform. I'm like, what are you talking about? How do you let a grown man lie? What are you talking about? Are you sick? You know what I mean? Okay, look, Zion Lexx, you come over here and you can lie. What are you? Man, this is just the most ridiculous stuff I've ever heard. Anyway, that's what the brother said to me. Anyway, so I want to share something that Jabari says this. And this is just, I mean, you can take it how you want it. But this is my little contribution to the research, to what Jabari said. If I can find it real quick, I want to pull it up, and I want to share this with you because it's ridiculous how people don't pay attention. So first of all, let me say this. First of all, one of the most petty things that I seen in this argument was he said Zion Lexx lied. Now, one of the lies that we have to pay attention, and we gotta stop being so emotional. Pay attention, and that's why I like Zion Lexx too, because he said he think meticulously. He's a critical thinker. So pay attention. Let's examine the lies that he said Zion Lexx made. Let's examine that for a minute. We're gonna see how petty this is. Let's see how petty this is real quick. Let's examine one of these lies. And we're going to examine, let's see real quick. We're going to examine this one. He says that I think this is it right here. Hold on, let me make sure.
Now let's be clear, family. My wife was actually involved counseling an initiate upstairs.
Hold up.
When she came down.
Let me set it up. So one of the first lies that he accused Zion Lexx of lying about. Zion Lexx said that his wife was right there and she was basically chiming in. That's what Zion Lexx said. So he said, you lied. You lied. But now listen to what he said. Now I ain't even gonna pull up what Zion Lexx said. Listen to what he said.
Down halfway through the debate and sat here. She heard how ludicrous many of your answers were. The debate and sat here and initiated upstairs.
Remember, he said that Zion Lexx lied and said that his wife was there. So in other words, he's saying that his wife wasn't there. Now listen to what he say though.
Now let's be clear, family. My wife was actually involved counting an initiate upstairs. When she came down halfway through the debate and sat here, she came down halfway through the debate and sat here. She came down halfway through the debate and sat here. She came down halfway through the debate and sat here. She heard how ludicrous many of your answers were, and she actually felt like she wanted to jump in. Not because I wasn't a...
Stop. Now stop. Stop. Ask yourself, if she heard how ludicrous his statements or his demonstrations were, why would she want to jump in? That doesn't make sense. Why would she want to jump in to help Zion Lexx? Think, family, think. The Prophet Noble Drew Ali said, if I can teach you to think, you can save yourself. He said that she came downstairs. He wanted to jump in. Why would he want to jump in if he was winning?
Teach!
It doesn't make sense. This is the Hotepas. Let's look at it one more time. Let's look at it one more time. I want you to think, family. This is about thinking. And this is petty. Because who cares if she came down or not? But this is petty.
Now let's be clear, family. My wife was actually involved counting an initiate upstairs. When she came down halfway through...
I want y'all to see this. So let me share it with you. So pay attention.
Now let's be clear, family. My wife was actually involved counting an initiate upstairs. When she came down halfway through the debate and sat here, she heard how ludicrous many of your answers were, and she actually felt like she wanted to jump in. Not because how ludicrous many of your answers were, and she actually felt like she wanted to jump in. Not because I wasn't actually contending with you, but because she couldn't believe the flimsiness of your answer.
That does not make rational sense. That does not make rational sense. She wanted to jump in because his answers was flimsy. When she was going to correct them, and does she study the Hebrew faith? When she was going to help him out? What did she want to jump in for? It doesn't make sense. Zion Lexx, you can take it away because I got a few more of these clips coming behind you, my brother.
Thank you very much. So that's clip number one. And before I go into that, I want to set something straight for the record. When I got on Global Media Inc. TV earlier today, I made some statements about this entire thing promoting tonight's event. I want to make it clear. Looking at Sarnetta and the House of Consciousness, I'm never gonna fault Sarnetta for being who he is. One thing I always give respect for and to a person is they are who they say they are. Sarnetta tell you from the gate, when it comes to Kemet, I am biased. So me knowing that, I can't have no real issue with Sarnetta. My community wants me to flame Sarnetta tonight. But guess what? That would actually make sense if Sarnetta says, you know what, I'm not biased, family. Whoever wins in a dialogue, they win. I'm not going to change clips. I'm not going to throw bombs on what Jabari says and don't throw bombs on Zion Lexx said. I'm not going to give Jabari more airtime in my edit and give Zion Lexx less. Well, he don't say that. He tells you from the gate, God damn it, I'm biased. So guess what? I don't have an issue with Sarnetta because he made it clear from the gate where he stands. But you know who I have an issue with? Brother Jabari. And I'm glad you brought out that first clip. Brother Jabari says that he stands on ma'at, truth, reciprocity, justice, order, and balance, righteousness. He said that, not me. So if he stands on truth, after examining the first clip that Brother Tahaka Bey, I have a question. How does one get so deep in the lie that they tell the truth in the process? Let me say that again. Let me say that again. Get so deep in the lie that they tell the truth in the process. Jabari says Zion Lexx lied and said that my wife came downstairs to give me answers, to help me out. But he said on camera, yes, my wife was upstairs. Yes, she did come downstairs because she heard what he was saying, and it was so flimsy to her that she just wanted to get in and jump in. People, listen to exactly what Brother Tahaka Bey just said. What would be the sense in that? Think about it. These people are at the top of their totem pole when it comes to the knowledge in Kemet. Was doing his thing, and I was downstairs sounding silly. She should have been upstairs laughing. No need to come downstairs. No need to feel like I got to jump in and say something. Because if I'm already making an ass of myself, your husband's doing a great job. And you would not have come downstairs and made any statement because your husband got this. You know, whenever a person do things like that, it shows you what's really going on. So, with regard to the clip that Brother Tahaka Bey just played, I have one statement and question to make that is actually a rhetorical question. How does one get so deep in the lie that they wind up telling the truth in the process? Because while you retelling the story of what happened, God damn it, you still told the truth. I didn't lie. I told the community on Moorish World TV that he was getting that work so much that your wife came downstairs to help. And that is my interpretation of why she came downstairs. That's not a lie. That's what I feel. And then you come and you co-sign it. The truth. Because you say she came downstairs because of the ridiculousness of what I was saying and the flimsiness of what I was saying, and she felt compelled to jump in. And I told her not to. And then Zion Lexx said in the debate, and this is what he said, Zion Lexx said, I wonder if I'm debating two people or one. And I looked at my wife and I told her, see, I told you he would do that. Brother Jabari, how do you get so deep in the lie that you tell the truth in the process? Next clip. Yeah, Brother Tahaka Bey, do you think?
Yes, sir. So my thing is this. My thing is not to try to rain on the brother so bad. But so these clips are not nothing. It's not nothing egregious. It's not nothing crazy. It's just facts. I don't even know which one I'm going to show next, but let's just see what he says.
And then he goes on in this video with Brother Tahaka Bey, and he says, he shows me a video of me saying it. And I say, I thought I deleted that. This never happened. He never showed me a video, and I certainly didn't say.
I don't know. That was going to be a question that I was going to ask. What is he talking about? You know what I mean? Because it seems like he's grabbing stuff out of the air. And I'm like, why is he picking all this petty stuff out?
And then he goes on.
So I wanted to ask you about this, Lex.
And he says, he shows me a video of me saying it. And I say, I thought I deleted that. This never happened. He never showed me a video.
So Zion Lexx, what I wanted to ask you, I wanted to get to the bottom of that, because I went over the video and he never mentioned what you said you showed him. That's all he said. He pulls out his phone and he shows me a video and said, oh, I thought I deleted it. I'm like, what is he talking about? He didn't make a lot of sense.
All right, so let me deal with that one as well. Thank you for providing clip number 2. Just so the community knows, Brother Jabari reached out to me about 15 minutes before we got on the show tonight, because he wanted to clarify clip number 2. He texted me and he said, Zion Lexx, can we at least agree that I did not make this statement? So what are we talking about, people? We're dealing with true brotherhood behind the scenes. I'm clapping at Brother Jabari because I feel like he's being very disingenuous in certain things that he's doing. But behind the scenes, the dialogue is extremely brotherly. I want to make that clear too. I'm not going to sit here in front. Me and him have spoke since the last night when it aired, and we spoke tonight. 15 minutes before I got on the show tonight, he texted me and said, Brother Zion Lexx, can we at least agree that what you said on Moorish TV in the second clip that Harkabe just played did not occur? And I explained to him what I'm explaining to you right now. On that clip, I said in the Moorish World TV, on Moorish World TV to Brother Tahaka Bey, that I pulled out a video and he was like, oh, damn, I thought I deleted that. That's an expression. I never said he actually said he deleted it. I said he was like, meaning the expression on his face. When you look at Jabari's face, when I said I had video clips of things he said, his whole moment dropped. All the bravado, all of the talk, all of that shit was out the window. The man was visibly like, God damn, Zion Lexx could do some homework. That's what I said, and that's exactly what I mean. I'm never going to be a bullshitter for the people. I'm always going to keep it real. In this moment, I could easily say, yeah, I did say that. Yeah, I said he said that. No, Jabari didn't actually say that. My words verbatim, people need to actually listen, was he was like, meaning that I'm referencing the actual facial expression that he's making. Brother Jabari, the literal facial expression that he made when I made that statement was like, God damn, I deleted it. And that's exactly what I said to Tahaka Bey. So that's clarification. People could say, oh, Zion Lexx, well, you could have been more clear on that so that maybe Jabari wouldn't have jumped to conclusion. Well, even when I spoke with Jabari tonight, he said, Zion Lexx, you said I said that. I said, Brother Jabari, play that video clip. And he played it. And when he played it, I literally said, he was like. I never said he said. So people don't pay attention. And maybe in that moment, I could have did a better job of explaining that I'm referring to his facial expression. Excuse me if I didn't come out extremely clarified on that particular point. And this is me being objective and honorable, something you do not see in the Kemetic community. A person could take a point right now from me because I'm admitting this. But people who understand the core value of morality, being a stand-up person and being objective, and more importantly, being honorable, would give me a point still because I'm not putting words in that man's mouth. At the same token, I didn't lie on that man. When you put things in perspective, I'm talking about the body language of the brother. The brother was visibly defeated. In fact, when I pulled out my phone and said I had videos, he said, no, you can't play that. And you can hear me in the video say, oh, what you mean I can't play that? You got something to fear? You got something you worried about? Go ahead, my brother, chime in with clip number 3 and comment on anything you want to say.
Those are the main things I wanted to point out because it seemed like he was harping on three main things. Three main things he was harping on. He was harping on that, and then he was harping on you debating, I think it was Baba Hassab. So the main, I knew that the clip that I was trying to, I didn't have enough time, but I knew that the second clip that I showed, it was actually, as you said, it was an expression. But I couldn't get to the other clip and chop it up in time to put it next to each other. So I knew that you would answer that. But I knew you would answer that in affirmative as what I know because I was here doing the show. So I know that you wasn't literally going at him in a way in which he said. But the thing is that all of this crime, let me see, man. Let me pull up something else. I just got some random clips. I want to ask you about let me pull it up real quick. I want to ask you about the brother, the next thing he's crying about, the next thing he's complaining about you debating Brother Assad, I think, I forget exactly, but he said that you lied about that. What is that all about, my brother? Because that's what they're going to want to know. What Lexx did
So let's get to that point real quick. And this begins from before Jabari even came in the community. That's number one. Before Jabari came in the community, when I first started dealing with Sarnetta, Jabari made a statement on that live stream where he said, I don't understand what's going on with Zion Lexx's mind. Like, he makes a reference to Jean-Claude Van Damme in Bloodsport. He lives in a karate world where you go through stages and you have to defeat big bad bosses before you get to someone. As I clarified to him last night, no, I wasn't the one that said that. Brother Sarnetta, when I first entered the community, I said I want to debate Brother Polite. Everybody knows that. And he said, nah, you got to debate Shaka Amos first, man. You got to prove yourself before you get to Brother Polite. So let me clarify that for the people. I did not bring a Kung Fu style mind and frame of thinking into the conscious community that I would have to go through a series of people before I get to the big bad boss. Because to be honest, if we do it like that, Brother Polite would have been among the first. Because Brother Polite can't tie the shoes of Asar Imhotep. Brother Polite cannot tie the shoes of Sun Jetty. So let's make that absolutely clear. If I really believed in that, I would have told them no from the gate, because that's not what it is. But this is what I was told by Sarnetta, and I'm keeping it all the way 100. It can't be a diss to Sarnetta because it's the absolute truth. He told me, before you deal with Brother Polite, you got to at least deal with Brother Shaka Amos. Come on, Brother Zion Lexx. And right after I went past and defeated Brother Shaka Amos, Polite had every excuse as to why I can't deal with him. So as the months and even years progressed, I said to Brother Sarnetta, finally, I said, you know what, Sarnetta, you got to bring me the master teachers, man. And this is why I believe that Sarnetta played the clip last night saying that I lie and giving in to Jabari's propaganda. I think it was because of the fact that I shared a behind-the-scenes conversation between me and Sarnetta. I really think that that's what he's upset about, in all honesty. I shared a behind-the-scenes conversation where he told me, Baba Heru, DG, cannot fuck with me on a debate level. He said, my brother, I'm not even going to say that it's because you know more than them, but them brothers probably forgot more than you know, therefore you clean them up in a debate. He said that, not me. And I think because I shared that behind-the-scenes conversation, something that now they would have to look at him and say, wow, that's what you think? That's kind of fucked up. I think that really is the reason why he allowed Jabari to go on the show last night. But again, I'm not mad at Sarnetta for that. Sarnetta does what he does. It is what it is. So now they pull a clip up where Jabari says, oh, and he said after he debated me that Sarnetta told him now he could get Brother Baba Heru. To know, because Jabari's been selling a lot of tales in the last couple of days, is that number one, Jabari told the people that I left his house heated. Something that I called his ass out when I spoke with him last night. I said, Brother Jabari, I left your house heated? He said, well, to me it did. I said, how? I said, how I left your house heated when I walked out your house smiling? I walked out your house giving praise to your wife, called her a beautiful woman, not just because of her outward appearance, but because of her spirit. I said I respected the spirit that she carried, although we have differences. I said that on camera. The people.
This is I got my brother D-Red to come in the building I know he probably been paying attention to what's been going on with this Jabari situation. I know he paid attention to the HOK situation because he go hard on him all the time. So I brought him in the building. Maybe he can offer some questions and all of that. But brother, that's the part I wanted to get to. That part. Brother, I know you to be an honorable guy. I know you to be a fair guy. I know you to be a humble guy, but I know you to be a guy that's going to stand, as we say, on your square. I know that you're going to stand on what you believe in. I know that, and you ain't bending. It is what it is. And some people want to call that arrogant, but I'm the same way. Call it what you want. I'm going to stand on mine. But that's what I wanted to ask you, brother. When you walked out of there, what was the atmosphere? Because if you let my brother Jabari tell it, that he worried about you. He worried that you may get in an accident, he worried, wondering were you going to be all right. That's what he said. He worried when you left because he knew that you were so flustered. So I wanted to ask you, what exactly was the atmosphere when you left, if you want to reiterate it for me?
Absolutely. I had to actually pull up the 42 negative confessions on this one. Why am I pulling out the 42 negative confessions on this one?
Teach, brother.
One of the 42 negative confessions says this: I have not been dishonest, and I have not lied. Brother Jabari, I left your house heated, so much so that you was afraid that I was going to be in an accident. Brother Jabari, in that moment when you made that statement, you are a liar, and the truth does not exist nor dwell in you. You know that you are completely full of shit when you said that. I left that house in genuine smile and in genuine laughter, and also in genuine praise. So for you to turn around and say on video that I left your house afraid, brother, you are lying. Afraid of what? Fear in what? Sad for what? What work did you put in? You slandered my character about my book. What work did you put in? Because you was getting work that whole dialogue. Let me tell you how much he's full of shit when he makes that statement. When I went outside, I, in a very laughter but straight-faced way, looked at Sarnetta and said, Sarnetta, whole video up. Real talk, true story. Sarnetta got upset. And Sarnetta said, man, why you keep doing that, man? I said, because you know how you do. I said, put that whole video up. Don't play. Don't edit nothing. That don't sound like a man that's worried about anything that happened. That don't sound like a man that thought that he lost. That sound like a man confident that he put 10 toes in your ass. That's what that sound like. And so I let her know that's the goddamn truth that I said that. We're not going to buck dance and play that I didn't say that. I told Sarnetta, please, brother, put that whole video up. And I'm also going to keep it real and tell you that Sarnetta was a little upset by that. He said, man, why you keep coming at me with that? I said, because you know how you do. You biased. You know how you do. And he said, brother, did I put up the last video edited? And I gave him credit. I said, nah, you didn't. I'm going to keep it real. That last video you put up with me, you absolutely did not edit that video, the video with Garfield. I said, I got to give you credit. And we walked away. And as I walked away, I looked at Sarnetta. I said, you got to give me Baba Heru. And Sarnetta said, yeah, all right, we'll see. And I said, come on, Sarnetta. And I walked to my car. So Sarnetta went back on his show and allowed Jabari to say that that was a lie. And I'm sure Sarnetta told Jabari that that dialogue never happened. But I know I looked at Sarnetta and I said to Sarnetta as I was walking towards my car, I'm literally crossing the street. And I said to him something I say to him after every dialogue. And he know that. After every dialogue in the community, I say, you got to bring me the master teacher. And sometimes I'll enumerate and say who I'm talking about. And I said Baba Heru. So that's me being confident. I know I whooped his ass. I know I put 10 toes in Jabari's ass. So much so that I went on Facebook that evening and I said, I'm the type of guy that you don't want to debate in front of your wife. Jabari goes on Sarnetta TV the other day and does something that the school secretary does. You know, she goes and she prints and she copies. And she pulls out transcripts. And she says, you see, this is what you said. It's right here. I got the transcript. So Secretary Jabari pulled out a transcript from my Facebook page that showed me coming down on my own community. But what Brother Jabari did was he exaggerated. Something that is against the 42 negative confessions. I have not exaggerated the truth, because to exaggerate the truth is to tell a lie. Brother Jabari looked at what I wrote on my Facebook page the following day, where I said to my community, for all the work that I put in, for somebody who shares information so freely, it's a damn shame that I get no support in this community. At this point, I'm going to fall back and allow another teacher to step to the forefront, because I'm tired of being misused and abused. What do I mean by that? Sarnetta aired officially my sit down with Jabari on a Friday night. So I never got to actually watch the dialogue, because Hebrews are supposed to be Sabbath keepers. And Friday night, we not doing everything we normally do. Most of us are in temples, actually. So I never got to watch it. But what I did get to see was all the screenshots that people were sending me of what was going on. In the comment section, Jabari cheerleading himself, which is crazy. I've heard of people riding another person's D, but when you ride your own D, that's a whole nother type of chemist stuff that I just ain't into. So in that sit down, where they playing the video, Brother Jabari is on there talking about, I lost, blah, blah, blah. And then he shows a video, he shows the transcript that he printed when he went into secretary mode. And he says, you see, people, even Zion Lexx knew he lost. Because look, he's coming down in his community. They didn't support him. No, brother, that's not what that meant. Here's what that meant, brother. Everybody who watched that live feed in the Hebrew community reached out to me and said, yo, Ak, you know what's crazy? When you put up a Facebook post, and you could confirm this, Brother Tahaka Bay, keep it 100, because you were friends with me on Facebook. My people came to me and said, brother, when you put up a Facebook post, you got about no less than 100 and something likes when you in teaching mode. And all them 100 something people, you have 3 or 4 people in the comment section of that live feed cheering you on. So I said to the brother, nah, you know what? Don't take it that serious. You know what I mean? Remember, Hebrews are Sabbath keepers. You know what I mean? A lot of them was probably at the temple and not watching it. I ain't taking that personal. Until brother said, nah, you need to open up your eyes, because them same Hebrews that be claiming they be in temples on the Sabbath, if started to throw up a debate on Friday, they be in the comment section heavy. But they wasn't there for you. And them same Hebrews will come to you and ask you to learn Hebrew. Them same Hebrews will inbox you and ask you to break down scriptures. But a great majority of them same Hebrews wasn't there to defend you and cheer you on what you did, just like the Kemetic community defended and cheered Jabari on. And it was for that reason that I came out and I lashed out on my community. Not because I lost. Are you fucking crazy? Lost what? Next clip.
So I'm gonna let my brother D Red chime in. Brother D Red, are you there? Now I know my brother D Red been listening to the dialogue and what's been going on, and I know he got something he want to add. I don't know where he went.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
So brother, I know that you monitor this stuff just like all of us do, because we are active people and we want to see what our people being taught, or our people not being taught, or we're being misled. I just know that you're a foot soldier, boots on the ground type of brother. But as you've been watching this dialogue and this back and forth and this Jabari going, I mean, video after video after video, they just keep posting them and posting them and posting them. And to me, that's trying to control the narrative. Like, get brother Zion Lexx response. I mean, call him up, live stream him. What you got to say about this? But they're not doing that. So here we go. We're going to keep it fair and balanced. This ain't Fox News. This Moorish World TV. Our family go be able to say they say. So my brother D Red, what do you have to offer? Any question for our brother Zion Lexx?
Sure, what it do, baby? Mic check 1 2, what it do? But all I gotta say is, I mean, I'm not really surprised by too much of none of the stuff. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like I say, Hebrews don't want to listen to me when I say this. I tell them all the time. If I know somebody don't fuck with me like that, but they, okay, let's say Bill O'Reilly, right? I'm just making up a hypothetical situation. Say Bill O'Reilly say, hey man, come on my show. Now I know pro-black, and so why would I go on this show when I know he's not gonna give you a fair shake for you to either get your points out, or they're gonna edit it out, or they're gonna chop and screw it and make it look this, that, the third. So why would I subject myself to that? Now I could get some exposure, right? And people be like, well, you can go get some exposure. But what people don't understand is all attention ain't good attention. All exposure ain't good exposure. You see what I'm saying? So what ends up happening is, you know what I'm saying? We got to start understanding that.
I need to beat.
What's up, boy?
Let me call Polo.
My boy, excuse me, that's my partner, man. But yeah, I'm on the block right now. But what I'm saying, I said what I'm trying to say is though, we got to stop being to the point where I keep stressing this and people don't even want to listen to me. When Hashar said that camera is the devil, you see what I'm saying? And what a motherfucker will do is, nigga, that camera, that bait. And so what they gonna do is they'll reel your motherfucking ass in with that bait and get you over there just to make you look bad. It's a game plan, it's a strategy. I mean, I'm not even me and Si got our issues, but I'm not even mad at them for doing it. Because if niggas are stupid enough to keep taking their ass over there, I'm gonna do your ass too. And that's just what it boiled down to. And I'm finna tell you the whole game plan. This is what I'm finna tell you. I'm finna run it down to you right quick, because game recognized game. You see what I'm saying? And I was born in Chicago, game city. Moved to Houston, game city. You see what I'm saying? So game recognized game. What you do is you destroy the Hebrews or anybody that believe in the scriptures one by one, or you destroy them in the cluster. Because niggas is so stupid that they can't even see. I'm gonna give you an example. Sarnetta had Polite on the show. You had 3 Bible believers on the show. What them dumbass niggas do? Go at each other. Why? Because they stupid. Because niggas don't have a fucking common enough sense to say, you know what? Now is our time. Put our differences aside. Go get this nigga. Because niggas don't think war strategy. Niggas think so selfishly and thinking about themselves that they can't even see the big picture. So what he do? He lets you destroy yourself. And so guess what?
D-Ray, we got to chill on the N-word, brother. You said N like 5 million times, brother. I see you slipping, brother. But good night, brother. I'm over here like, goodness gracious. Hold up now. I'm coming to join you, Elizabeth. Goodness gracious. I might got my son right here. Somebody might got their son right there. But we got to watch that one, brother. This ain't Sarnetta TV. I love you, my brother. But goodness gracious. You really... let me let you see.
I got you, my brother.
Goodness of gracious.
I got you. So check it. So what they do, they get on there. But hold on, but talker, check it out though. But peep game. But peep game. They get over there and they attack each other, right? Instead of going and asking the one dude some questions that needed to be asked, some questions about his doctrine and what he believed, because they're not thinking war strategy. They go at each other. They bickering amongst themselves. So now the people in the chat room are saying Bible believers can't even get along with each other. Why should we follow that book? Guess what? Now, mission accomplished. I let you destroy yourself. I set you up and let you destroy yourself. You see what I'm saying? So then what you do is you get Jabari to sit down with Divine, and guess what you do? You don't never let him sit him in a neutral place. You see what I'm saying? You always in a situation where the narrative is controlled by somebody else. So guess what ends up happening? Now you chopping and screwing, so now I make it look like Divine lost that one. So now guess what it looked like? Divine down, Zion down. So now what you do to make it seem like, well, shit, the Hebrews, my homeboy, Tazarek, my boy. But guess what you do? You trying to set him up. You see what I'm saying? And lucky the generals seeing what was going on. That's why they said, no, ain't no debate. Because you pumping them up to say, this is the pinnacle of what a Hebrew's supposed to be. Know what I'm saying? Don't none of the other Hebrews know what they're talking about. This is the super Hebrew only because you was going to what? Chop him down. So once you chop him down, guess what happened? Now you ain't got no Hebrew heroes that you can depend on, because everybody done got picked off one by one. And you done showed that the people that believe in the Bible don't even agree with themselves, and them dudes look stupid. So these dudes don't understand what's going on to see the strategy, because they so self-centered. The only thing they do is thinking about fame and want to be famous. And I'm going to call it like I see it. If folks don't like it, but I'm going to keep it real.
D-Ray, how does that relate to Jabari and Lexx? Bring it on home, brother.
How they relate to the Jabari and Lexx is because, again, they're not going to let no Hebrew be in a neutral situation. They're not going to, like how you was talking about how you was going to do the debate or do whatever, and y'all was going to go half and half, and y'all was going to do this. They're not going to want that, because you can't control the narrative that way. So as long as Zion going to go to this dude's house, guess what happens? This dude gets to control the narrative because it's his house. It's certain things out of respect, how black people, how we are brought up, that we're not going to be a certain way in somebody else's house out of respect. So just that alone, you're fighting with your hand. You fighting with one hand behind your back. You see what I'm saying? So, but because it's Sarnetta and people want to get on the platform, guess what they're gonna do? They're willing to take that battle with the one hand tied behind their back. Not understanding that you walking in with one tie behind your back, but once the fight gets started, now both hands tied behind your back. Now you can't even fight. Now you ain't got nothing to fight with.
Well, I
Because
think
now once the video gets chopped up, once the video gets chopped up, and somebody like Zion, what's gonna end up happening? What was gonna end up happening every time? They're not gonna do him like they do Polite. Now we want to talk plagiarize. Polite plagiarized every damn book he done wrote. Copied and pasted in every book he wrote. That's why he couldn't even put no sources in his book at all. So we can't talk about, but they're not gonna bring that up, right? He the only person that they'll call a young phenom who lost damn near every debate he done had, except the Ali Muhammad debate, right? We don't even got to talk about the scamming because that speaks for itself. You see what I'm saying? But they don't want to talk about that. Wu Jiao book got exposed to be, this was 6 months ago, when the team on science pretty much blasted him on that. Did the whole homework, the whole breakdown, everything. His whole book plagiarized. So before you go to Zion, you need to clean up your own house, clean up your own backyard before you come talk about Zion. His plagiarized, if that's what you want to say he did. So my whole thing is Zion went in there because a lot of these dudes, so I know they got game, man. I ain't gonna sit up there and lie. Old nigga got game. Old cat got game. Excuse me. Old cat got game. And he be gaming these dudes. He rock you down here in Houston. We call it rocking you to sleep. He rock you to sleep. Oh, family. This, that family. Oh, we family. This my family. And he rock you to sleep. And then what ends up happening? You get over there. Then he get to break you down like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar with them chops. He get to chop you down. Pop, pop, pop. Then you start realizing, oh man, what have I done? But guess what? These dudes are addicted to that camera, so they're gonna keep going over there. So what I advise Zion to do is know what your enemy gonna use off the muscle. So before you even go, if you're gonna sit down with anybody over there on their platform, whether it's on your platform or somebody else's, already address the book or tell them don't even talk about the book unless you're gonna talk about, because if we're gonna talk about plagiarism, we're gonna talk about it in the whole community. We're not gonna just talk about my book in isolation. Now we want to talk about plagiarization in the whole community. If you want to put my book in there, I have no problem with that. If you want to say, hey, I'm just starting to write books, so I'm not gonna get everything right, my bad. Leave it alone. You see what I'm saying? But you got to know what you're walking into. You see what I'm saying? And I think a lot of Hebrews are under this impression because a lot of Hebrews will be trying to say, well, such and such is a Hebrew, they just don't know it. Man, the hell with all that. You see what I'm saying? You got to respect what somebody say that they are. It's to respect their stance. You see what I'm saying? And stop trying to use that as an excuse to go over there and deal with them. You know what I'm saying? And that's just all I got to say about it.
All right, my brother. The fire that you bring, you already know that. I'm about to chime in a second. But Zion, let me ask you a question. Are you willing to answer from the chat? The chat is blowing up. Somebody said they wanted to ask you questions, and I'll put the number in for 15 minutes if it's up to you, though.
Yes. Let me say this real quick. I definitely want to take. It's about 9:37 now. I take questions up until 10 o'clock straight.
Yeah,
so I don't have a problem doing that. But let me respond to Brother D Red. Once again, Brother D Red has been extremely enlightened. Once again, Brother D Red's contribution is amazing, man. You know, sitting in my car, which is where I'm at right now, and listening to this brother, you know, the emotional thing to do is to say, nah, like, don't call me a fool for keep going there. You see, the reason why people don't gain wisdom and grow is because emotionalism from certain things that you do, realizing that certain things you do may not be the best thing, will block and stunt your growth. I'm not that person, people. I'm putting respect on everything that brother just said because in many respects, he is absolutely right. We already know that when you go there, the narrative is controlled by someone who tells you he's biased. So do not look surprised when you see that the outcome fair. We don't even have to say in your favor because that would be biased too. But don't be surprised when the outcome is not fair because the brother tell you straight up and down, I am biased. So you can expect certain things to go down. Brother D Red, I definitely got to find you on Facebook again. Through our brother Tahaka Bay, I would love to exchange numbers with you. You're a voice that has to be heard in the community. For the last 2 times that we've been speaking, you've made some amazing and profound statements that I definitely think that you should be heard more of as well. And I want to say, in light of what you said, I agree with you 99%. And if there's anything that I would disagree slightly with, because I would only have a slight disagreement, I think a person would be absolutely insane to say they disagree with what you just said just now. But I find that there's a small percentage of what you said that I want to shed light on. You see, Brother Malcolm X, Brother Louis Farrakhan, when they went on shows like CNN, they know that the white man is going to twist the narrative. But they also know there's still something that's going to come through that's going to be a teaching moment for the people. What we know is that when we go on Sunday the show, that is the major powerhouse where everybody watches. Sad to say, all the Moors don't stream in and watch Moorish World TV. Tahaka Bay knows that. Sad to say, all the Hebrews, and shout out to Daniela from AOC, my brother, who I have differences with, who currently does not speak to me. But that's my brother. Shout out to Hashar from AOC. Daniela is from Lions to Israel. And shout out to Hashar from AOC and AOC, who is my brother and currently doesn't speak to me. But that's my brother. Shout out to them.
Allow me to cut your wisdom. Jabari just entered into the chat. He just entered into the chat. Shout out to Jabari. I don't know how long you've been there, but it's a good thing that you are there so you can hear the real coming from the real. If you wish to call in, you can also call in. Remember, first and foremost, I don't like disrespect. I wouldn't allow Lex to disrespect you on this platform, nor would I allow you to disrespect Lex on this platform. But we can have difference of opinions and walk away. We can get worked up and everything, but we will not get into the disrespect. I don't think I would get that out of you, and I know I wouldn't get it out of Brother Zion Lexx. But you can call in, ask any question you'd like to ask if you want to. We're going to be running to 10 o'clock. We got 20 minutes. If you don't want to call, anybody else can call in and ask Brother Lex anything they wish to ask. He's an open book. And like I said, when I see that brother, I see myself. He's an open book. I'm willing to ask any question about Moorish science. He's willing to answer any question about his Hebrew faith, Israelite faith. It is what it is. But with that, go ahead, Lex. I just had to throw that in there real quick.
All right, Brother Tahaka Bay, thank you very much. So in closing to my brother D-Red, I really appreciate what you shared. But you see, the thing is, Sarnetta's channel is a channel that everybody flocks to. All Hebrews don't support, and this is the reason why I brought up Daniela and Hashar from AOC. All Hebrews don't support their YouTube channel, which for some reason right now, the name is not coming to me automatically off my head, and not because I don't want to give those brothers credit. So if anybody in the chat room knows the name of their YouTube channel, please put it in the chat room so people can see. All Hebrews don't even watch their channel. All Hebrews from my community don't even watch my channel. But you know what? All Hebrews go to Sarnetta. All Moors don't go to Tahaka Bay. But guess what? All Moors go and watch Sarnetta. That's a problem. That's a problem. Because we're not supporting each other. And that's what I was speaking to about my community. We don't support each other. Why? We rather support the contention. We rather have an eye for contention. The teaching moments that we share on our show, our own communities are not watching. But we'll all watch Sarnetta's TV just to critique. Not even to learn, just to be there, to hate, to whatever. That's something that we got to change. So in closing to my brother D-Red, 99% of what you said is absolutely true. But the 1% I want to share with you is this. Being that Sarnetta does have the largest platform that everybody goes to, even though, as you so eloquently put, we walking in there with one hand tied behind our back, and that's extremely accurate, you got to realize that many of us have walked away from several dialogues with one hand tied around our back and still walked out with knockouts, TKOs. So that says a lot about what we're doing. That's number one. Number two, we know that Farrakhan appears on the white media. And we know that they're going to cut it, chop it to where he look bad. But we still know in them clips, we still find teaching moments. And for that, my brother, for me, it makes it still worthwhile. And with that being said, D-Red, please, I want your number. Let's exchange numbers. And with that, 17 minutes left. Let's open up the line to anybody who wants to call. No sound, no sound.
I'm throwing it in right now. D-Red. D-Red, hold me down, brother. Add something to the chat while I throw this number in here. Hold up. Hold up, hold up, hold up.
Well, I mean, I feel my boy Zion on that.
I messed
Hello?
up. Hey, Brother Jabari, call in now. I was slipping on the gas. I was slipping on the gas. It's not welcome to Moorish World TV. Who I'm speaking with? Hold one moment, family. Who I'm speaking with? Brother Jabari, how you doing? It's a pleasure to have you on Moorish World TV on the platform. As I say, there'll be no disrespect. I don't think I'll get that from you. I mean, I just feel your energy when you come through the platform when I watched you on Zion TV. I know I'm not going to get that from Zion Lexx, but let me put you up to the so the people can hear you. Put you on speaker so the people can hear you, and we take it from there. So, brother, you can introduce yourself and come on in the chat. You there? Hold up.
Mario Saze, I'm here.
Okay. All right, let me make sure the people can hear you. Family. Let me mute myself. Okay, my brother. So I was asking the chat, could they hear you? They couldn't hear you, but they got you now. I think they got you now. Let's see. All right, so Brother Jabari said he's open for any questions. Brother D-Red, if you have any questions, or Brother Zion Lexx. Now, let me ask you, my brother, could it have been a misunderstanding that when we were saying, when I heard you say that Lexx lied blatantly, or what is your draw on that?
Well, let me be very clear.
I say this. Let me set it up though, Brother Jabari. I don't know Lexx to be that kind of guy. That's why I asked the question. And I got a call from Sinetters asking me why did I let him lie on Moorish World TV, which that is a ridiculous question for one. And that shows me that Sinetta was sensitive about the I guess you want to say the contest, or the sharing of information, or the contention that of knowledge and that y'all was doing, or something like that. Because when Sinetta calls, that means some feathers was ruffled. That's just Sinetta. So I just want to know, was there a misunderstanding, or can you help us to understand that a little better?
Brother Parker, that's an excellent question. Let me say this. There are times that we have disagreements on our text. There are times that we have disagreements on application. I expect those. That's the reason why I agreed to sit down with my brother Zion Lexx. So I realized that we don't see the world the same way. We don't practice the same thing. Those dialogues are helpful. Those dialogues are crystallizing. I'm prepared for that. Now, I want to be very clear, and I've said this to Brother Zion. There were at least 3 occasions that I believe that he fabricated events. There were at least 3 occasions. If you look at the video that I recently did on Sinetta's platform, you will see that I out and out fabrication. First, he said that, and I'm going to go through them very quickly if you allow me.
Oh, go ahead, brother.
It was that I did so poorly on the debate that Sonnetter was looking to set up a debate between him and my spiritual father, Baba Heru Ankara Samad Sekata, and that obviously Baba Heru was interested now because he saw that I did not do well. Now I'm going to tell you, when he said that on your platform, and Brother Talker, this is not about you, because I know that you were not aware of what was happening in the background. You might have also known that I sent an email to you articulating those three items, because I knew that you were not aware of them. But so he said that, and when I spoke to Sonnetter and I spoke to Baba Heru, he hadn't spoken to either of them since our debate. So obviously that, number one, has to be a fabrication. If you're saying that because of the way I afforded myself, that you are preparing to set up a debate with one of my my elders, then it implies that I did so poorly that now they want to be able to buttress the house. And that did not happen. That is a fabrication. The second thing that he said was that my wife was listening to me handle him poorly on an upper floor and came, because you heard these heavy steps coming down the stairs, and she sat right next to me and was helping me in the debate. That is an out-and-out fabrication.
Brother Jabari, Brother Jabari, I spoke on that earlier in the show, and I played a clip where you said that she came and she felt this was so hold on, I can play it for you. I can play it for you. I can play it better to tell you. It just didn't make sense to me, and maybe you can help make sense. And I'm not a one-sided person. That ain't what I do. You know, I'm the type of person where though I try to look at things from a make sense perspective. It has to make sense. If it doesn't make sense, but I listened to the commentary where you said that she came down and she heard how ridiculous he sounded, and she wanted to basically chime in, right?
She was, no, that's not what I said.
Hold up. Give me 1 sec. I'm going to show you right now.
Sure.
I'm going to share it with you right now.
Absolutely.
Now, let's be clear, family. My wife was actually involved counting an initiate upstairs. When she came down halfway through the debate and sat here, she heard how ludicrous many of your answers were, and she actually felt like she wanted to jump in. Not because I wasn't
So I want to stop there for a second. It's just a clip, brother, and I'm not throwing you under the bus. The point that I'm making is that you said when she heard how ludicrous he sounded, that she actually acted as if she wanted to jump in.
Yes.
That didn't.
Now let me be clear.
Yeah, I want you to clarify that. Why would she want to jump in if you smashing them?
I'm going to clarify absolutely right now. When you say chime in, it actually implies that she actually wants to join the debate. What she was doing is she was sitting there saying, how could he actually say that? And she actually was speaking. Now I'm going to be really clear. She was not close enough to me or to Zion for me to even hear what she was saying. But we did hear her mumbling. And in the video, you actually say to me, I don't want you to do that because I know that he's going to say that you're assisting. I said, no one could hear what she was saying. She was mumbling. And I believe that she should not have been mumbling. But if I was in her situation, I might have been mumbling too. Because I want to be really clear with you, Brother Taharka. Some of the comments that Zion made were ludicrous. This whole concept that he has about a third-party presentation with regard to the 42 laws, it's laughable. It doesn't make sense.
But Brother Jabari, and then I want to let Zion Lexx chime in to add on and see how we can basically come to some form of, even if it's a degree, as they say, agree to disagree. But Brother Jabari, I think that's a pretty good point.
Brother Taharka, 1 second.
Yes, sir.
Allow me, I want to at least get out the third.
Oh, sure, come on.
Yeah, the third thing that I believe is an out-and-out fabrication, and I want to be clear, I wasn't on your network earlier, so I did not hear the earlier conversation that you just had with Brother Zion. But I actually sent him the clip of the video, so you could actually see, he could actually see what I was referring to. Because we spoke last night, and it didn't seem like he was aware of what he said. The final thing he said was that he had a video of me talking about divine force in chemics, being singular. Now, these are my words. That's the way I describe it. I think he said something like one powerful divine force, or something to that effect. And I'm not faulting him on the language that he used. His tradition is slightly different than mine, so he might have used slightly different language. But he said that he then played a video for me, and then I said, "You have that? I thought I deleted it." And then he responds, "No, if you put it on the internet, it's always there. I have it." That interaction, Brother Taharka, did not occur. That interaction did not occur on tape, on video, or outside of a recording. So if you are actually creating interaction, then all I can say to you is that you are lying. And so that is what I said. There are those three things that occurred. And you know what else, Brother Taharka? What kind of man lies on a man's wife? Now, all of you watched, I'm going to the second one again, all of you watched the video. Did you see me getting coaching? The camera was on me the entire time. Did you see me stop and pause? In fact, Brother Zion even said that I interrupted him several times. So if I was interrupting him, when was I receiving coaching? That is a vile, vile, vile thing to lie on a man's wife. You know, listen, I'm clergy. I remember the time when I was a young man, and that kind of commentary would have actually garnered a different sort of reaction. I don't get down like that. But I want you to understand how inappropriate that was. There were at least 3 times on your show that Brother Zion fabricated things. And Brother Taharka, I know that you're not aware of it. That's why I sent you it, and I don't know if you saw my email, my message to you on YouTube. But that's why I sent you that, because I said, really, Brother Zion is actually also not just disrespecting me, not just disrespecting my wife, and believe it or not even just disrespecting Brother Sarnetta, but he's also disrespecting you and your audience. Because if you go forward on your platform and share things that are fabrications, that is disrespectful. And so we could have disagreed on the text. We could disagree on our interpretation. We could disagree on which tradition is first or which one has the most efficacy for moving black people forward. Those disagreements, I think, are helpful. Those disagreements are clarifying. Those disagreements, I think, are enjoyable. But when you have to come forward and start creating interactions that didn't occur, I think we need to be very clear that that is inappropriate.
But Brother Zion Lexx, he clarified every point that you said a few seconds ago rather. He clarified every point. I actually asked him about these points. I don't know if you want to go over it again. But Zion Lexx, are you there?
I'm definitely here. Can I respond to that, brother?
Sure, my brother.
All right, so let me say this. Brother Jabari, in his own words, is part of the clergy.
I'm having trouble.
Brother Jabari.
Okay, one moment. Let me mute my mic.
Okay, one moment. Let me mute my mic.
Brother Jabari, in his Taharka, if you can hear me, throw up number 1 in your hand. If you can hear me, that way I know. Okay, thank you. Brother Jabari, in his own words, says that he's part of the clergy. Brother Jabari, in his own words, tells you that he teaches on the collegiate level. Brother Jabari has already shown and demonstrated before the community all of his accolades. With all that being said, why would Brother Jabari exaggerate and stretch the truth in this moment? Brother Jabari just said, what type of man violate or lie upon another man's wife? Brother Jabari, me telling the people that it's my interpretation that your wife came downstairs to help you is not violating or lying. You even agreed that she came downstairs with the intent of jumping in. Something I already said, we're just using different language to convey the thought. That's number 1. Because apparently you're a little slow. So I'm going to break it down for you a little bit more. You said that I'm fabricating events. Wife came downstairs to help you. Brother Jabari, how do you get so deep in the lie that you tell the truth in the process? You actually said on camera and just now, and Brother Tahaka Bey played it for you, that she came downstairs with the intent of jumping in. But let me take it a step further. When you go back and you watch the original video of the sit down with me and him or Sarnetta, I look at his wife, and in a very respectful way, I said to him, I wonder who I'm debating, her or him. He just finished telling y'all that she couldn't even be heard. So who's fabricating events and who's lying right now? Let me bring that back so people understand how he's lying to the community right now as we speak. He just said his wife was so far away from himself and me that she couldn't even be heard. And then he says, oh, you see, you guys didn't hear on camera, as if you guys don't know that if you're not in front of the mic, you can't be heard. That doesn't mean she's far away. Secondly, I'm calling to the witness stand, Brother Divine Prospect and Captain Tazariak, who I know will be watching this at some time if they're not already watching now. Y'all was inside Jabari's house. Y'all know the chairs that she's sitting in, and y'all know how close she is to us. So y'all know that I can hear everything she's saying, which is why I said on that camera, I wonder who I'm debating, her or him, or both of them. And then Jabari turned around and said to her on camera, you see, you know he would say that, just stop. So that means, Jabari, you just got caught in a lie live on Moorish World TV. You said your wife was so far away that she couldn't be heard. But when I called her out on the fact that she was speaking up, as you call mumbling, but you never said what she mumbled though. She was mumbling things that she wanted you to say. That's what she was mumbling. You just say mumbling, but I'm telling the whole truth. She was mumbling things that you can hear. That is why I turned around and I said, I wonder who I'm debating, her or you. And you admonished her on live TV and said, stop, honey. I told you he would do that. So my brother, if she was so far that I can't hear her, why you didn't correct me in that moment and say, Brother Zion, you didn't even hear what she said. What are you talking about? Brother Jabari, if you stand on my aunt, do so on this show as well. Go ahead, Tahaka.
So yes, now Brother Jabari wants to respond. Let's not have this drawn out. I tell you what, let's give this 15 minutes of just airing it out, and let's walk away like men, brothers, and friends. Can we do that?
I have no problem doing that.
Can we do that, man? We don't want to. We can get heated a little bit, but let's just walk away like men, brothers, and friends. Brother Jabari wants to respond to what you just said. Come on, brother Jabari, let's go.
Well, let me be really clear. I want your family to play this back, and you'll see that Brother Zion slightly, effortlessly shifts what I said to suit his interpretation. I did not say that my wife came downstairs with the intent of jumping in. I said she came downstairs, and when she heard the ludicrous answers you gave, she felt like she wanted to respond herself. That is what I said. I did not say she came downstairs with the intent of jumping in. And second of all, you also said, well, you said that she couldn't be heard. And then you just, in the same sentence, acknowledged I said she was mumbling. So I did not say she couldn't be heard. I said that we could not hear what she was saying. She was mumbling. All I could hear was mumbling. I couldn't hear what she said. And if Brother Zion believes that she was actually sharing that was helpful to me, ask yourself this, family, Brother Tahaka and Moorish World TV family, ask yourself this. If that was what she was doing, why hasn't Zion told us what she said? Because Brother Zion didn't hear her either. And then he even tried to say at some point in the initial video that you did with him, Brother Tahaka, that maybe she is the more talented opponent. And that was simply something that was said in order to try to drive a wedge between myself and my wife. It's really poor of him. I've been married 16 years. His comments will not do that. And all I can say is either Brother Zion is continuing to try to misrepresent what happened, or he does not listen well. I actually believe that he's trying to misrepresent what happened. And notice that he did not address the comment on the video that supposedly he played me, and I was like, oh my goodness, you have it? I thought I deleted it. Because that one clearly there is clearly intent to misrepresent. Clearly, Brother Zion is lying. Clearly. And I will say to you very, very, very candidly, brother, that I know that you have great respect for Brother Zion Lexx. And I'll say to you that I had a lot of respect for him prior to sitting down with him. That's the only reason why I would sit down with him, because I had respect for him. But hearing him share fabrication on your platform has made me question his veracity, has made me question his moral fiber. And I did that to him when we spoke on the phone. I did that to him in the video that you saw with Brother Sonnetter. I would rather discuss our tradition than where we disagree or where we, even if for example, I would rather discuss the historicity of both traditions. That's where this conversation should be. It shouldn't be about him trying to up the ladder like in a kung fu movie, and now Baba Heru is big boss and he defeated me. That's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. It shouldn't be about that. It shouldn't be about him trying to misrepresent something that my wife did. That is vile. And it shouldn't be about him fabricating interactions with me. Family, you saw our conversation. I was respectful to Brother Zion. I have not, and think about the language that he used in your last video. I didn't hear the beginning of this one, but I wouldn't put it past him to say some things that were very vile again. Now, you may not agree with me, Moorish family. You may not agree with me. I'm not saying that you will. But at the very least, you should know by now that I am not going to say something disrespectful to Brother Zion. I'm not going to try to say things to him that are not brotherly. And that is clearly what Brother Zion has done. And I am disappointed in him because of that.
Brother Zion Lexx, let me see. Do you wish to respond to that, my brother?
Come on, Tahaka, you know me better than that. Absolutely. So here we go. The narrative that he's trying to push right now is the same narrative he was trying to push when I sat before him on Sarcophagus TV. I'm afraid of touching a particular topic, and I'm running the clock. So he says I still haven't answered whether or not he made the statement. Brother Jabari, because you came to the show late, you don't realize I explained all three accusations you made meticulously. There goes that word again. Every accusation you made, I'll explain, so we'll revisit for you again. The second claim you made was that I went on TV and I said that when I played the video, you said that, he deleted it. As I explained to you on the phone last night, as I explained on Moorish World TV today, I never said you said that. I said you was like. I even asked you to play the clip that you said that, because I never said you said it. I said you was like, meaning an expression. When a person say he was like, they're talking about an expression. When a person said he said, they're talking about what you said. Now I have to question whether or not you graduated from Cornell University. If someone says he was like, that is quite different than them saying he said. To say he was like isn't a term of expression. To say he said means you said. I said you were like, meaning I was talking about your response, your visible physical reaction to me saying I had you on video saying these things. I said that he was like. I never said you said. And I even came down on myself in that moment to you on the phone last night and to the people today. And I said, you know what? Maybe I could have done a better job clarifying that. I said that to you on the phone last night, and I said that to Moorish World TV. Tahaka Bey, real quick, yay or nay what I just said, and let me chime in real quick. Did I not just say that to Moorish World TV?
Yeah, Brother Jabari, that's what I said. When you came in, I said you didn't see the earlier part of the show, but he spoke to everything that you mentioned. One of the things that he spoke to was
I know what he's gonna say, because he said it to me on the phone before he interviewed with you. But let's be really clear: the interaction of him playing me that video didn't happen. It's not about. I mean, he's really if he's saying that all of this, you have to understand, Brother Tahaka. He did not even play the video. So even if you want to interpret this now and say that he was reading my expression, very interesting that someone who's only actually sat down with me at that point for an hour and a half can read my expression. But let's be very clear that he did not play that video. The interaction itself is a fabrication. And if he's saying that that is his interpretation of my expression in a non-existent interaction, and then he goes deep into him saying, no, if it's on the internet, we have it, I have it, and I want to play it for you. None of that happened. Family, listen to the video. Brother Zion is prevaricating once again. And he's going into personal attacks, questioning whether I graduated from Cornell. Honestly, if I had just graduated from high school, I would still be able to defeat you. So my Cornell degree is not at question here. So you have to understand that when you violate the laws of Ma'at, when you violate your commandments and lie, you cannot win. This is not a situation where I'm misrepresenting what he said. Watch the video. He wants you to not believe your lying eyes and your lying ears. The interaction did not occur. He did not play me a video. I did not have a response to my face, an expression that he's interpreting, and he did. None of that happened. Brother Taharka, how in the world could I not believe that there is the intent to misrepresent when someone actually creates out of whole cloth an entire fabrication? An entire fabrication. So he might have tried to explain it away to the Moorish World family, just like he did when we were on the phone today. His explanations are further fabrications. Brother Zion, you are creating a web that is embarrassing. It is embarrassing. It is clear that you are lying. Speak truth to power, brother. And let's be very clear. Let's be very clear here. I would prefer to talk about the issues that we actually came together to talk about. I don't want to spend my time talking about whether he thinks my wife was trying to feed me information. Why in the world would I want to get into that dialogue? That's just foolish. It's childish, like we are in high school. I don't want to get into a situation where he thinks that he defeated me, so now he can go up against my spiritual father. Those are foolish. Those have nothing to do with the conversation. And I also don't want to get into a situation where he's pretending that he caught me off guard with something that he never showed to me and we never talked about. What has happened now is we've gotten into the weeds here. And Brother Taharka, I hope you see that this, Brother Zion wants to slightly apologize and say, I think I could be clearer about that. This is not about a situation where you can be clearer. What you should be saying is, I need to apologize. That's what he needs to say. And because he is proving himself not to be honorable, he will not say that. And you can yell all you want, Brother Zion. You can yell all you want. The truth is the truth, and I will stand on it.
Brother, Zion Lexx, you coming in?
Yes, can I respond to him? I'm gonna make it brief. Thank you very much. So let me say this. One thing people have to realize about Brother Jabari is that Brother Jabari, in his own words, has been trained in an institution that America holds to a high standard. All right? Cornell University. Cornell University certainly has a Department of Africana Studies where some of the great grandmaster teachers in the Kemetic community have graced, such as Dr. Ben. So we're not going to act like Cornell University doesn't have its strong African-centered foundation as well. But at the end of the day, it's a European institution. What is the necessity for me even bringing that up? Listen to his style of speaking and his style of argumentation. He seems to think that because Zion Lexx cursed on Moorish World TV because he spoke about my choice of language, that somehow I was more disrespectful than him. As if we are not intelligent enough to know that European institutions are one of the first institutions in this country that have taught this world that you can be extremely disrespectful without using a single curse word. Then he talks about the fact that Zion Lexx what you're doing right now is you would rather go into a personal attack when it comes to my wife and when it comes to my work. You know, I'm more interested in just dealing with the argument. How ironic for him to say that. And at the same token, keep referencing our original sit down. Look at Jabari's very first question to me. Zion Lexx, I called the blog's owner about the images you published in your book. That is a personal attack. You did not begin by talking about the information, the words that I presented in that book. You began with a personal attack, but then you get on Moorish World TV with the nerve, and say that I'm more interested in having a personal attack. Brother, you began the dialogue with a personal attack. You spoke of me plagiarizing an image, which loosely speaking is not even legal tender, not even legal language. For someone who wants to talk about within high school education, I could beat Zion Lexx. My brother, I know people in John Jay High School, because John Jay also has a high school here in New York City. There's people in John Jay High School that will tell you, if someone uses an image from someone else, that's not plagiarism, Brother Jabari. It's called copyright infringement. And you should go back to Cornell University and learn the difference. That is what I'm talking about when I'm speaking to you. Don't use your degree as a stepping stone to step on me. You're not tall enough to step anywhere around me, much less on me. You have no intellectual stature when it comes to me, as I proved in our dialogue, because I didn't open up with a personal attack. I didn't open up with what the Hebrew community says about you. I didn't open up calling you a flaming faggot. That's what the Hebrew community says. The Kemetic community has said that about you. I didn't do that. I still don't do that. I condemn those who do that. I have not done that. So when we talk about a person desiring to have a personal attack rather than a scholarly discussion, Brother Jabari, you initiated that. Your very first question was to question my character, because you called to the people's attention the veracity of my work and whether or not I am the author of an image that was in my book. And rather than ask a fairly balanced question, which should have been Zion Lexx, how do we know that your book encompasses images that are public domain images? Can you demonstrate that for us? Can you demonstrate the modality so that we can see how to do it and we can see how you got the image? No, you didn't do that. What you did do is the agent-like thing. You called the authorities on me. And the authority in this case would be, as you put it in your own words, the owner of the blog. Then you had the nerve to say, but, you know, he wanted information on Zion, but I didn't give him up. Brother Jabari, if Zion Lexx would have did that, the entire HOK would have said that Zion Lexx is an agent. And when you did that, even some people in the Kemetic community who were in the chat room called you an agent. I got the screenshots to prove it. People with names like Atum Ray called you an agent when you made that statement. When you go back to the original video, Brother Zion Lexx versus Zion Lexx versus Brother Jabari feeling each other out. Look at the comments. Some of the comments coming from the Kemetic community is Brother Jabari is an agent. That's not just the Hebrew community speaking. That's your community. So when you talk about personal attacks, the first thing you have to do is look in the mirror. You began the dialogue with a personal attack. You said you want to convince the Moorish World TV that you're showing a high candor of scholarship by not resorting to vile language. Okay, we applaud you for that, but you're still extremely disrespectful, like the Europeans who trained you to be. You're extremely disrespectful, because rather than deal with the content of the information that I put in there, the first thing you did was put my character on trial. Brother Jabari, we don't get more personal than putting a person's character on trial before we deal with the information. I don't have a problem, mind you, with you putting my character on a trial, because I believe that it has its place too. Because as our dialogue will grow, hopefully, I'm definitely going to put you on trial for a lot of things you said as well, character-wise. But because that is not the foundation of the argument, that is not the base of my argument, that is not the majority of my argument. The majority of my argument is to prove that your information is pseudo. just like the Amin-Ra squad calls you. Spooky, as you even said out of your own mouth. Then he says, in reference to his wife, that he's looking to cause a rift between me and my wife, as to suggest that she's more learned than me. No, Brother Jabari, that's not what I did. That's what was done on Sonata TV when Sonata interviewed you. When Sonata interviewed you and your wife, he said in reference to your wife, and she knows the language more. And you agreed. Not me, you. Sonata said your wife knows the language more than you. Is that not correct? You went on to say, yes, she went to school for it. She has a degree in it. You co-signed that your wife knows the language more. So me hearing that, that is exactly the reason why I went on Sonata TV. And I said that she would give, on Moorish World TV, she would probably give me a better time. Because when you were supposed to open up the 42 negative confessions and show us the plagiarization, you should have went into the language. Something that someone who purports to teach the language should have done. Just like I was able to open the Hebrew and show you how you were pseudo and didn't understand the Hebrew, therefore what the hell are you even talking about? Your wife would have been a damn near better opponent because in your own words, she knows the language better. She went to school for it. So let's not play games, Brother Jabari. Sound.
Oh, my bad. Brother Jabari, I want to give you the floor and let you do what you do, let it all out, and then we'll let, since Lex is the guest on Moorish World TV, we'll let him close out. Not to put it like he had the last word, because I'm not that type of guy. But he is the guest up on the show, so I do have to let him close out. But I'll let you have the floor. If you have any questions that you want to ask him, we can do that. But I'll let you have the floor, and then we'll close it out from there. Is that fair, my brother?
It is absolutely fair, and I would expect that you would allow him to close out because he is your invited guest. There's no problem with that. I do want to respond to the things that Ian just said. Family, I want you to hear this very clearly, and perhaps Brother Zion Lexx is not familiar with how scholarship and how peer review takes place. And so that's part of what this problem is, I think. And rather than assume that he's doing something that in this instance is nefarious, is inappropriate, I want to just say that he's probably not familiar with how this works. And that's the reason why he's responding this way. He would like for you to believe that me identifying problems with his text is a personal attack. Speaking about your wife would be a personal attack. That would be a personal attack. I did not make a personal attack. I simply drew attention to the fact that your book is poorly done. And essentially your book surrounds the major topic that we were debating. Why in the world would you think that if I had your book, you knew I had your book, I told you I had your book, that I would not have addressed it? Now let's be very clear, family. I certainly am not going to simply deal with the issues of plagiarism in his book. I want to also deal with the manner in which Brother Zion puts together arguments. I don't think that he puts together logical arguments. I don't think that he puts together arguments that built upon the material. And so if you had seen my PowerPoint, you would have seen all of that. But the major part that I wanted you to understand is it's hard to critique someone's work when it's not actually their work. And so that is why the issue of plagiarism came forth first. Zion would like you to believe that this is a legal issue. He has not been charged. There is no court proceeding. So the term plagiarism is one that is used in the scholarly setting. That is why I said that he plagiarized. I have not charged him. The owner has not charged him. I have not connected the owner with his work. He would like you to believe that that makes me an agent. No, it actually makes me a scholar. That is what we do. Brother Zion, if you're unfamiliar with it, you should become familiar with it, because then perhaps what we could do is we could remove this emotional problem that you have around this and just recognize that you need to pull your book and produce a volume that is worthy of your thought. Because I honestly believe, Brother Zion, and you've heard me say this time and time again, I think I need to say it here because he feels like I'm personally attacking him. I believe that Brother Zion is an intelligent brother. I believe that he's an astute brother. I believe that he's a learned brother. I'm impressed at his knowledge of the Hebrew language. More on that in a second. Those are all things that I can say that are absolutely positive about Brother Zion. Your book does not suit you. And so what you need to do is actually do the scholarly thing and correct your grievous error. Now, you'd like to say agents. Agents infiltrate, agents provoke, and then agents report back. I did none of that. All I did was I read your book. I noticed that there were no citations, and noticing that there are no citations, clearly that means I have to say, well, where does this stuff come from? I had actually seen some of the things in his book before. And seeing them before and noticing that they weren't cited means that there's a problem here. That's what happened. So as much as you want to try to say that people called me an agent, people in my community call me an agent, brother, I want you to be really clear that I actually believe that both the Moors, the Hebrews, and the people that follow Kemet are all my community. So,
what about the Moors, brother? No, I'm playing. I know what you mean.
The Moors first. I said the Moors first.
Okay.
Come on, man. I gotta say the Moors. I respect you, brother Tahaka. Come on.
Yeah, I'm just playing.
Yeah, I want to be clear that I believe that you are all part of my community.
Absolutely. That's how I live, brother. I agree.
Yeah. So this thing about us, that's the reason why I sat down with you. Let's be clear. This thing about my community saying things and everything, that I don't even know where that goes. Now, let's talk about the second thing that he dealt with when he said that my wife has better knowledge of the Medu Neter family. If you actually watch the videos that I've done on Son Neter, if you watch my television show, Kemetic Legacy Today, if you look at anything that I've done, the body of work that I've done over 20 plus years of being a public person, it's not a secret that my wife is more schooled in the Medu Neter than I am. I'm very comfortable saying that. My wife is not a shotgun. She's not the passenger in the car. We drive this together. She has strengths and I have strengths, and our strengths together create the institutions that we have created to give to our people. So I'm not uncomfortable saying that she is better versed in language. She has a linguistics degree. That was what her focus was at Cornell University. But I want to be really clear, our debate was not about the Hebrew or the Kemetic language. So Brother Zion wanted to regale you with his ability in Hebrew, but in actuality, that has nothing to do with what we were talking about. So let's be really clear. If you think that she is the better opponent, maybe she'd be a better opponent in another debate. I'm comfortable saying that she is stronger in those areas. That doesn't mean that even me being weaker didn't mean that I could actually contend with you and deal with you easily, because I contend that even in the Kemetic language, you would lose. I have no problem with that. But I want to be really clear that what you're seeking to do is something that it's laughable. You're seeking to actually make me jealous of my wife. You're seeking to make me feel and make the family feel that there's some discord between us, or that I guess this is that patriarchal thing coming back again, where saying that your wife is a powerful person is in some way a dig at you. Brother, if you look at everything I do, I am absolutely excited at being able to be in a loving relationship with my queen, and to also have the benefit of her scholarship. Some of you may have heard me say that when I wrote my book, she actually read my book twice before it was published. I respect her contribution. And if either of us were sitting in that chair, Brother Zion, you would have still been defeated. But I want to be really clear to you that our conversation was about history. I am the historian. In this instance, I am the person that you drew, because I'm the person, as you saw in the video, that could best destroy your commentary, which I did. And so you can yell, you can curse, you can lie. The facts are the facts. It's on video. And family, I want you to just take an unbiased look. Now, let's be very clear. This was just our initial conversation. I'm not saying that I believe that Brother Zion Lexx will not prevail in the long term. I hope that he just goes back to the lab and becomes better prepared. Brother Zion Lexx is an intelligent brother who has studied for a long time. If I did not think that he was a valued, a formidable opponent, I would not have sit down with him. I just wouldn't have done it. So this is not a situation where you have seen me personally attack him. He thinks that me talking about his book is a personal attack. That's just because you're not aware of how this works. I would never engage in personal attacks against you. Because ultimately, when this is over, you and I are supposed to be able to work together for the betterment of our community. I truly, you heard me say it on camera. You heard me even say it in my response to what he did on your TV show, Brother Taharka. But I'm going to say that his behavior recently has made me question whether that is possible. A man who will lie is a man that can't be trusted. I would rather him say that he made a mistake and apologize, because then you can restore ma'at with me and we can continue to move together as brothers. But he's not doing that because his ego is involved. Brother Zion, this is not just about scholarship. Your tradition is supposed to assist you in becoming a better human being, a better brother, a better contributor. If you're plagiarizing and if you're lying and if you're going out there and cursing all over people's television stations, on people's platforms, then it's almost like we don't even have to talk about history, because you are not an adequate image of your tradition if that's what you're going to do. And so that is where I will leave it. I really hope that we can repair this totally. I think that Brother Taharka, Zion and I had a long conversation last night. In fact, we spoke longer last night than we did on camera. I really hope that we're able to repair this, because I want to talk about not us as individuals, but I want to talk about our scholarship, our ideas, the text. That's what I want to focus on.
Right.
That's what I want to focus on. And even if you disagree with me, you should acknowledge that that is what I am trying to bring forward. And so as long as we're able to do that, we should continue to discuss. If you're not willing to do that, then perhaps we are not ready to discuss these things. I really hope that we are, because I want to continue talking to you, brother. I didn't feel any enmity to you after our debate. It was only after you went on Moorish World TV and said those things that you said that I had a problem. Before that, I just said, listen, we disagreed. We're going to continue to talk. And so I really hope that this can be repaired for the betterment and for the unification of our community. With that, Brother Taharka, I'm going to leave so that you can close.
Hold up. I got a question for you.
I want to thank you. Yes.
Brother Taharka, I gotta respond while he's on the line, please.
Okay. Let me respond to you real quick. We'll wrap it up. I got a question for you.
Thank you very much. Let me say this.
Hold on. Let me make sure. Brother Jabari, you there?
I'm here.
Okay.
Okay. So,
there, so I can ask you a question.
all right. Thank you very much. So here's what I'm going to do. We heard his explanation. There's some things that he said that I totally agree with, that I'm not going to avoid at all. But let me say, and by totally agree with, I mean the choice of language. Yes, he's absolutely right that even when I appear on Moorish World TV, there can be a way of conveying my thoughts without using certain language. He's absolutely right. And in this moment, I'm showing myself to be honorable and strong. I'm absolutely giving credit to him for making those statements. But I want to pull from a statement that he just made, and I want to convict him with his own words. He said to the people just now, someone who is a liar cannot be trusted in the community at all. You guys heard him this evening mention the video several times. You guys also heard him say several times, please, family, it's on video. Go back to the original video. So using his own words, I'm going to convict him. He accused me of being a liar and therefore said I cannot be trusted in the community as such. Do you recall that he literally just said just now, I'd like you to believe that this is a legal issue, but it's not a legal issue. That's why I use the term plagiarization. Well, I'm glad that he knows that plagiarism is not a legal issue. It's actually a moral and ethic issue which still makes it wrong, but it's not a legal issue. The legal issue is copyright infringement, something that I corrected him on that he was using incorrectly that night. But to convict him using his own words, look back at the original video, family. I'm disappointed in myself that I didn't have a time marker ready, but those who watch the video, especially Tahaka Bey, who's hosting and moderating Truth. In the video, when he makes the statement that I plagiarized, he says verbatim, and family, there are legal issues here. Tahaka Bey, I'm putting you on the spot. Did he not say on camera that there are legal issues here? You just have to say yes or no, and then I want the mic back. Sound.
Let me say this real quick, and I don't sugarcoat nothing. Brother, you did mention, Brother Jabari, you did mention that, well, you're not going to say too much more because it could result into legal issues. You did mention that. You recall that?
Absolutely.
Yeah, because, and I know exactly, because I went through the whole video. I went through the whole video just trying to figure out how can we see the balance in this, because it was so imbalanced from Sinetta side. And so how can we balance this out? And so, yeah.
So let me please get the mic back now, because it's definitely still my time. His time is done. I just wanted to speak on that. So he said just now that when there's a liar, and he called me a liar, that person cannot be trusted in the community. He just told the people, Zion Lexx would like you to believe that there's a legal issue here. But that's not what I'm saying. There's no legal issue here. That's why I use the term plagiarization. As Brother Tahaka Bey just told you, and you agreed just now, you said on camera that evening, family, there are legal issues here. And right when he said that, Sarnetta put the bomb to highlight it. So he's on camera saying there's legal issues here, but today he's on Moorish World TV saying Zion Lexx would like you to believe there's legal issues. So I asked the family a rhetorical question. How can a man be so deep in the lie that he tells the truth in the process? With that being said, in closing out the show, I want to say this. I thank Tahaka Bey for the opportunity to have a fair and balanced dialogue, which is what should have happened on Sarnetta TV when Brother Jabari made his statements. Brother Jabari apparently was very comfortable being one-sided. Brother Jabari apparently was very comfortable with the idea that he can make all these charges and I could not be there to defend myself. When Tahaka Bey told me tonight that he would be bringing on Brother Jabari, I said yes. Something that I wasn't allowed to do. But I said yes because I'm showing myself honorable and I'm showing myself practicing more ma'at than he is. More balance, more reciprocity, and more truth. But above all, more justice. So the brother wants you to paint the picture that I'm not a scholar, but that I am a scholar, because he spent the last half of his critique to say, you know, I'm not going to act like he's not a scholar. He's a scholar. But when you go back in the video, he actually says, I'm not a scholar. So which one is it? How can a man be so deep in the lie that he tells the truth in the process? This is a reoccurring theme that I've been saying all night. Brother Jabari says that it's my interpolation that it's a personal attack when he talks about plagiarization. Plagiarization is an issue of character, which is personal, and you did attack me on it. Therefore, by definition, that is a personal attack. And you opened up with that, which means you opened up with a personal attack. And that's what I called you out on. What you failed to point out to the people today is that you agreed with me off camera on the phone that you can understand why I felt ambushed. I said to you, Brother Jabari, you know I didn't have your book, and you have my book on the table, and you know I didn't have your book. You told me you had your book. Brother Jabari, if you told me you had my book, there would be no surprise on my face that day. On top of that, I would not have opened my mouth last night to tell you that I felt ambushed, because then I would have already known that you had my book. But you said out of your own mouth, Brother Jabari, I can understand why you feel ambushed now that you explained that I had your book and you didn't know, more importantly, that I had your book. Yet you just said just now, Zion Lexx knew I had his book. How can a man be so deep in a lie that he tells the truth in the process? So, Brother Jabari, I'm definitely up for having a more scholarly dialogue, but what I'm going to do this time around I'm going to have my own moderator in the building. The only way that we can have another dialogue is for us to have another moderator in the building. Because Sarnetta has some questions and some admonitions that were solely directed towards me. It was not fairly balanced. With Tahaka Bey, and I wish he could be in New York to do it, because I would agree for him to be my moderator, being that he demonstrated that so beautifully tonight.
I definitely
But I need a moderator. Thank you very much. I need a moderator because Sarnetta has already said that he's biased and has already demonstrated that and has already showed on camera in that dialogue that he was biased towards me with his questioning, something I even called out on camera that day that was off camera because the camera was off during that time. I made that statement. So, Brother Jabari, and moving forward, I hope that we can keep it scholarly and not personal. I hope that we can keep to the subject matter and not drift away. Because in my opinion, you have yet to demonstrate your scholarship. And let me say something about your beautiful wife in spirit and in beauty as well outwardly. When I made the statement that your wife is the better opponent, I didn't expect that you would be emotional and interpret that as me trying to take a shot at you. I didn't realize that you would be offended at a man saying that your wife is the better opponent when it comes to the language aspect, because that's the only point of reference that I made that point towards. You're causing yourself to be left open to critique the very same standards that you claim to live by. You claim to have equal, if not more, respect for the divine feminine personality and spirit. Yet you were offended by me saying that your wife was better. That's an offense that you took. That should have been a compliment. Why would you be offended that your wife is better on that particular topic? I wouldn't have been offended by that. In fact, in my book, Matriarchs of the Covenant, which you claim to have ordered, I hope you do. And like I told you last night, I invite you to do an open review on it on a public forum so that we can see your take on it, because I'm not running or hiding from anything. In that book, I put the utmost respect on women. In the very first chapter, I speak about the prowess of Eve and how she was blessed with a much greater degree of understanding than Adam. And I go on further to upset the Hebrew community by saying that I personally believe, based on looking at the language, that the women, not just Hebrew women, but women on the whole, are blessed with a greater degree of understanding than men. I said that in my book, page 2. So don't act as if I'm trying to belittle you by saying that your wife is better, because from the Hebrew perspective, that's actually a compliment. Thank you, Brother Tahaka Bey. Sound.
Jabari, you there?
I'm here.
Now, we know that this can go on and on, back and forth, and to infinity. We know this. But if Zion wants me to be in New York, I'll be there. I have no problem with that. Brother Zion Lexx, no, I bounced to New York when him and Brother Sharif had a debate. I'm going to go Atlanta, anywhere for the people. You know, my thing is this, that at some point, we got to keep it to the scholarship. At some point, we got to keep it to the solution for our people. At some point, we got to say, you know what? I wonder, is this the right thing for our people? Brother Jabari, the reason why I say that, you know, I'm talking about the going back and forth sometimes. Sometimes it's good. But sometimes, like, this conversation can go on and on and on and on. And you ask yourself, sometimes you have to say, well, is this good for the people? How does this benefit the people? So, Brother Jabari, if you can see my screen, I chimed in last night. And I just want to share this with you. And this is what Sarnetta said to me. Now, you know, I know you said something about, you know, about physical. I don't want to get physical with you. And I respect when you said that. But when I was in the chat last night, and I was saying Lex will respond tomorrow on Moorish World TV, I don't know if you can see the screen. I'm screen sharing it. Sarnetta says, Tahaka Bey, get your B.A. out of here. And I don't use that type of language due to the fact that I got children that I want to be able to articulate themselves without that language. But I don't come down on people that use that language. But where I'm from, when you say something like that, you want to get smacked. Or you're going to smack somebody. That type of language cannot be in the quote-unquote conscious community. That type of language will make, see, if I come to 125th and smack fire outside of the head, I don't mind what's going to happen after that because I already thought about it. I'm conscious. So my message to you to give to Sinetta, watch what he say out his mouth because I can show up on 25th. I'm not worried about his cousin Ra-Ra. I'm not worried about his cousin Ben. I'm not worried about any of that. If I decide to smack fire out his head for calling me a B, I don't care about the repercussions. So, brother, if you are, as you say, you are a Kemetic priest, please pass the message to your brother. Heal that brother before somebody else gonna have to heal him for coming out his mouth like that. Because I will be in New York soon, and I want to give that one a pass. But brother, you say you are a clergy. Talk to that brother, man, because he don't know what he's getting into. Because if I decide that I'm going up 95 and smack the fur off Sinetta, I do not give a damn about the consequences. So please, my brother, carry that message to that brother, man. I'm not them guys that you go back and forth with on YouTube and I just let it go. That's not me. I didn't cuss at him. I don't disrespect him. But if he want that work, he can get it. He can call Ra-Ra and everybody. Because once I did make a decision to go all in, I don't care about the consequences. I've already decided that I can handle it. So, brother, you being a brother of the clergy, please talk to that brother and tell him leave that stuff alone. Can you do that for me?
I will. Let me say this. I actually believe that we all need to practice more restraint.
One moment.
Sure.
Peace and love. Peace and love.
All right, yeah, you got me live, man. Am I live?
You live, brother.
Nigga, you ain't gonna do a damn thing to me. I dare you.
See, there you go again. There you go again. So that's what I'm saying. This guy don't know what he's dealing with. He gonna call me, say you got me live so he can try to talk slick. But that ain't me. I ain't got nothing else to say about it. It's done. Go ahead, my brother. He don't want to listen. He don't want to listen. Go ahead. He didn't live this life. He finished with it. Let's go, Brother Jabari. What you were saying, brother?
Well, let me say this to you. First of all, you should understand that I come from the same streets that you do, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
And
that's why I would never disrespect you because I won't underestimate you.
That's just the reality of growing up as a black man in the United States, in the hood. And you don't get to be 45 without having your share of tussles and battles. I think that what I am attempting to do in all of our platforms is change the manner that we engage in these dialogues. Because really, we are supposed to be the folks that are coming forward as the scholars, as the teachers, as the people that have spent considerable time thinking about the uplift of our community. So I really want to say to everyone, that if that is who we are, we need to make sure that our community sees a new paradigm. Now listen, I live in the hood. I live on 9 could tell you this. I live on 131st Street. You mentioned I own a brownstone. My brownstone is across the street from the housing project. I live in the hood. I can open my window and hear the language that I hear sometimes on all of these platforms. And I think that if we are going to do something powerful in our community, if we are going to once again push the black man and woman to the forefront of human civilization, we have to show our people a different dialogue. We have to show our people a different approach. And so I want to admonish everyone, because there have been a lot of folks. I have not heard you use inappropriate language, Brother Tarka, but I'm not as familiar with you. But from the times that I've heard you, I have not heard.
No, I don't do that. I don't do that, brother. That ain't my style.
I would admonish everyone against it, because sometimes I want to talk to brothers about it, and they say, well, I'm talking to the people in the hood, and they have to be able to understand me. I actually believe that what we should be doing is showing our people that there's a different way. And so that's what I would say about it, and that's what I'm about. You know what I mean? When I get into conflict with my hood and they use that language, I am really clear that I do not. And I think that we need to make sure that we don't. And
so let me ask you a question, Brother Jabari. Do you support that type of behavior?
I do not support that type of behavior.
Well, brother, you know, that's if you being a clergy, let me tell you something. Me being a Moorish American Muslim man, if one of my Moorish brothers talk like that, I either cut them off or try to get through to them. I'm asking you to try to get through to the brother. When I talk to a brother like Brother Cool Joe, he's an obnoxious brother. He goes in and just start to cursing and I mean all types of stuff, calling names, all of that. I try to get through to you, or I get away from you, cut you off, brother. I'm asking you to try to get through to the brother because I'm telling you, if it's not me, at some point, conscious ain't always conscious. We suffer from the principles that delude to slavery, and we can cross that line at any moment. You know it and I know it.
I do know.
Brother Tahaka Bay, being that you said I was the guest of honor on the show,
Yeah, you about to back.
I want to make it clear that I definitely want to have
You got it, brother. You got it.
And I want to say this. All right, I want to say this. If you close your mic first, put your thing on mute.
Hey, Lex, you got it. Let me let him finish his sentence and you close it out. Lex, let him finish. Let Jabari finish his sentence and you close us out. What you say, brother Jabari?
Let me just say this. I think that you've asked me whether I support that behavior, and you should know that I don't. I mean, I'm clergy. I have a flock, and we don't get down that way. And I speak to everyone about their language.
Now I'm talking about Sidnet at this time, brother.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I hear exactly what you're saying. But I also want to say to you that when you allow someone on your platform to use that language, what it does is it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
No, brother. I asked people not to use that language, brother. So that's what I do.
Let me finish. I didn't hear you do that when Brother Zion was using it, and he used it very liberally. I didn't hear you do that. I don't know if you had that conversation offline. Maybe you did.
No. I said my children may be listening. D. Red said the curse word. I said my children may be listening. Children chiming in. We need to slow down on the language.
Right. What I'm talking about is the video that I became aware of that Zion Lexx did with you.
Okay.
I didn't hear you challenge him when he used it. And so to some degree, you should understand that the video that I responded to was responding to what he said on that video. And then when you came into the chat room, it's almost like the conversation continued. And we have to all get to the point where we don't need to use that language. And so I will challenge anyone in my...
But I want you to challenge Sidnetta. I don't want the bigger one. I'm pointing out Sidnetta, brother, because he is the head that is coming up right now with that. He is the head. I'm talking about Sidnetta, brother.
I hear you, but I want to reflect back to you. I hear you. I've heard you. But what I'm saying is I want to reflect back to you.
I don't want ambiguous talk about this person and that person because we always deflecting. You know, I know that's your guy. Check your guy.
Let me speak, Tahaka. Let me speak.
Hold up, brother.
Let's be clear. I'm not talking about deflecting. I would challenge everyone in my circle, everyone on their language. But I'm also reflecting back to you, not deflecting, reflecting back to you. That part of the reason why the dialogue has gotten to this level around this issue is partially because Zion Lexx used that language on your platform. So what I want to do is I want to say to everyone.
Now I want you to say it to Sidnetta. I ain't worried about everyone.
I've heard you, but you should be worried about everyone because
because I can control my platform. If I tell Zion Lexx, no, I don't appreciate the customer, he gonna respect that. And so I'm not talking about everybody. I'm talking about your guy that you've been on his platform 3 to 4 to 5 times, told me to get my BA out of his chat. Then he called up and then be more disrespectful. You are a Kemetic priest. You are a man of a cloth. Let's not avoid that we're talking about Sidnetta.
I want to say to you that we're talking about more than Sidnetta.
Brother, you being biased, brother. Are you going to check your man or what?
I've heard you.
Are you going to stand for what's right or what?
I am going to talk. I'm
To Harker. Ain't even no point to get. Ain't even no.
I want you to hear. There's a voice in the background. I also want you to hear that we all have a role in this. That's what I'm saying.
Man, that's it, man. I'm not going for that, man. He gone, man. I'm not going for this, man. Listen,
Hey,
I'm not, hold up, D-Red.
hey, Talker, let me say something before Zion go in.
Dancing around. This brother dancing around. I try to respect him. You know what I'm saying? But he's dancing around because he want to use the platform to propel himself into stardom as any of these hoteppers did. I'm asking him about Sonetta. I'm not asking him about Lex. I'm not asking about anybody else. I'm asking him about Sonetta. He don't want to check Sonetta. Get the heck off my platform, man. I'm not tripping off you, man. Don't inbox me. Don't email me. I'm going to show you what true Moors do. I'm going to show you how Moors ran up in Spain. I'm going to show you how we rode over the Alps. When we ride out. Lex, D-Red, take it away. Then Lex will finish it up. I don't got no more rap.
So let me say this.
Hey,
real
man,
quick.
like I told you, man, they do. Hey, I'm gonna say, I'm gonna be quick. I'm gonna be quick, Zion. Hold on, I'm gonna be real quick.
Go ahead, bro. Go ahead, D-Red. And then Lex will take us out. Go ahead, D-Red.
All right, man. I just wanted to say, look, man. You said, I mean, you was on there 10 minutes trying to get the dude to say, "Yeah, I'ma holler at him." That's all he had to say is, "Yeah, I'ma holler at him." But like I told you, that's the problem, man. That's the problem when you ain't got nobody in your circle that's gonna give you good counsel. So what ends up happening is you feel like you can do whatever you want to do because everybody dick rides you.
That's it, D-Red.
Whatever. You know what I'm saying? So what ends up happening is you lose the grip off reality. The reality is, man, folks can touch you, and that's not talking gangster. That's just talking real talk. Folks can touch you, and so when you think it's a game, out here, and you don't realize it's real in the field. When something happened to you, you ain't got nobody to blame but yourself. Cause like I said, down here we don't play that bitch that B and H game where I'm from. So I don't know where the hell he from, but obviously he ain't from the hood. Cause anybody know in the hood, them straight up fighting words. You see what I'm saying? Fighting words is somebody to take you out. So you need to just go on, chill out with that. You too old for that. You see what I'm saying? And then, like what Tarkin said earlier, when somebody want to slap fire at you, then it's this and it's that, it's this and it's that. And folks can touch you without even leaving where they from. And that's something that you need to think about. And that's something that should shake you by your boots. When the people know what apartment you stay in, where you park your car outside at, all this type of stuff, folks should be, you got to think, man. And that's why I say when people ain't got nobody in their team, because if he was my partner, I'd tell him, hey, man, sit down with that. You're tripping. You be out on the street, folks can walk by you, do stuff to you, and keep on moving and disappear in the crowd. Think about what you're doing. But when you ain't got no real dude, he ain't got nobody real on this team. I told Sada that. Your problem is you ain't got no real niggas on your squad. So I'm done.
We can do this again, but I'm gonna tell you this, D-Red. We rock so hard that you even told me when I was like, man, lighten up off Brother for life. And you hit me in my inbox. You said to me, what you doing, Tahaka? Oh man, I ain't like that, Brother Tahaka. You came at me like a man. You see, that's what real men do. That's what real men do. Real men can check each other, and it's all right. I got it in the chat. But with that, man, this was real recognize real. That's why he up out here, man. I try to give him the benefit of the doubt, man. And man, get out of here with that, man. Zion Lexx, take us home, my brother.
Let me take the family home. Salute to Moorish World TV once again. Salute to Brother Tahaka Bey. Salute to all the Moors showing love. Salute to all the Hebrews showing love. And salute to all the extended family that came here to show love and or critique. I ain't saluting nobody that's showing hate, but I salute anybody that showed any critique against anything that I said or Brother Jabari said. I salute you for having a voice. Brother Tahaka Bey, the biggest bomb of the night I was saving for the very, very end. I kept trying to interject just now because I wanted him to be on the line while he heard it. But, for whatever reason, it didn't happen that way. But I'm going to say it anyway. But as evidence of the fact that I was willing to say it while he was here, the family heard me keep trying to butt in. So I had something to say, and here's what I had to say. I watched as that brother continually praised you all night. Oh, you're a respectful brother. I don't think you would do this. I don't think you would do that. I have much respect for you, Tahaka Bey. The biggest bomb of the night was me being meticulous, me being a strategist. I said, you know what? Rather than deal with what I want to say about what he's doing right now, I'm going to let him continually throw you false praises. And what I mean by false praises, not that you're not deserving of those accolades, but he was not being genuine. Don't you know that he called me last night to get extremely upset and voice his opinion about the things that I said on your show, just like he told you, that he called me to speak about those things. The very first thing he said to me wasn't even about what I said. It was about you. He actually said, why would you go on Moorish World TV and speak with Taharka Bey? I mean, nothing he said was really scholarly. It doesn't seem like a scholarly platform. You see, Brother Zion Lexx, it's more than you voicing your opinions, but you have to be intelligent enough to know on what platform to bring it on. That's what I wanted to call him out for while he was on the line, so that he would look stupid in that moment, so that he would look fake in that moment, just like you caught him just now, rather than answering the question straight up of saying whether or not Sarnetta was wrong. He chose to say all. He would not hone in on your question because, as you called him out on, he was being biased. But greater than that, my brother Taharka Bey, when he called me last night, he said to me verbatim, why did I choose to go on your show? There was nothing scholarly about how you presented your questions, and your show wasn't scholarly. Mind you, this brother never heard of your show before me being on there. So what would make him say that? This brother never had a dialogue with you before. So what would make him say that? I wanted to call him out on that to close the night, to show the entire family that he is absolutely full of shit. Excuse my language. Sound.
Close out. Let me tell you something. Let me say this as I close out. You know, one thing we learn and one thing we learned in the Moorish Science Temple of America, people can say what they want about the Moorish Science Temple of America. They can call it church, they can call it pseudo, they can call it whatever they want. But one thing we learned in the Moorish Science Temple of America is to examine things. When we read the Holy Command of the Moorish Science Temple of America, we examine it. We just don't read it, we examine it, we study it. When we look at words, we study it. We look at the etymology. We look deep into things. And one thing that the Prophet Obadiah Ali said, if you ask me what to study, I would say self. And when you say you have well studied yourself and come back and ask me what to study next, I would reply yourself. So one thing the Moorish American, a true studied Moorish American, we study self and we study character. So looking at character, I give people the benefit of the doubt. But when I ask a person about checking, and you're saying you're a clergy, you're a priest, you're a pastor, you're a sheikh, you're imam, you're this, and I tell you that your friend is out of order, will you say something to your friend and you avoid and you dance around over and over and over? Guess what that tells me? You're saying that you're a clergy. You don't represent the principles of a clergy. That's what you're saying to me. Now, the way I act on Moorish World TV, trust me, I've heard a lot from my elders. I've heard so much that, man, some of them was like, man, why are you doing this? Guess what? They get it now. So, in speaking into where my brother said that you had mentioned that this is not a scholarly, it wasn't scholarly questions, it wasn't a scholarly platform. Let me explain something to you, and let me teach you real quick. Ain't nothing scholarly about Sarnetta TV or Black News 102. Not nothing. And in order to bring the people to a reality check, I must be in your face. And that's what I do. And I ask the questions so my guests can be in your face. We ain't gonna let y'all get away with that whole teppin, walking around with crosses all day, unks all day. There ain't no different than a Catholic priest walking around talking this stuff. Ain't doing nothing. Ain't nobody tripping off that. You know what I'm saying? I respect the elders like Baba Asar. I respect the elders like Mfadishi. I respect the elders like in Baltimore, Baba Asar from the what they call new Kemet or something, whatever it is. I'm worked up now. But I respect these elders. But you guys, man, y'all walking around with unks acting like y'all somebody. You ain't nobody. You got that European education, learn how to jump through hoops, learn how to manipulate people, and that's what you do. You got good intentions, but the road to hell is paved with good intentions. You want to do right. You want to do right, but you ain't got it in you to do right. That's why you couldn't bring your back, straighten your back up enough. You couldn't straighten your back up enough and look your brother Sinetta in the face right here on Moorish World TV and say, brother, that is unacceptable. You want to use an ambiguous term and say, well, all of us need to. And if all of us need to, see, that's the weak jellyfish backbone. See, when I go wrong, my brothers check me. When somebody go wrong in my circle, I check them. You can't check Sinetta because he's uncheckable by somebody that hold their chin like this. You can't check Sinetta because you're too busy holding your chin like this. You're too busy trying to figure out how you can gain notoriety. You're too busy trying to figure out how you can manipulate that European education and that Egyptology into some dollars. That's what you're really about. That's what all HOK about. Trying to manipulate a little bit of information into some dollars. So I don't take none of y'all serious. None of y'all serious. Trust me on that one. What I take serious is even Moorish World TV. This is just a platform to reach the people. Guess what? I reach the people on the block. That's where I reach the people. Come out your brownstones and go up in that project and see how many people you bring in your comedic school. Stop soliciting people online. Walk the street, put the daggone unk down and get busy. Ain't nobody tripping off y'all. Y'all want to look pretty with unks. That's what y'all want to look like, wearing makeup. Come on, man, get out of here. Shaka wearing makeup. Reggie talking like he knows something about ancient Kemet. Pale as a European. Man, y'all get on my nerve with this. I'm telling y'all, man, it ain't over. It ain't over. We gonna put y'all whole tappers right up in that little sarcophagus. Y'all going down. It's going down. Duck through the whole tackle. And I don't mean the true people that follow the Kemetic science or the Kemetic thought. The true people, the people that are really learning Ma'at, the people that are really trying to balance out their life. We ain't talking about them. We're not talking about those. We ain't talking about those that sit home and try to figure out how can they implement the 42 confessions in their life. We're not talking about them. I'm talking about y'all fake hoteppers. And you one of them, and you just proved it tonight. You go down with the rest of them. You go down with the rest of them. That's right. And tell your boy Sinetta I said. And Sinetta, I see you in NYC. You ain't gonna know when I pop up. And don't give me that little doo-doo face grin that you always give when I pop up. It's you know how I get, brother. And if anybody knows Sinetta, you've seen the grin before. You've seen it before. You know how I get, brother. Islam, brother. No, don't give me that. Don't give me that. You know what I mean? This is a takeover. Moorish World TV taking over. Tupac Shakur, guess what? You up out of here. Let me say this before I go. Family, welcome to Moorish World TV. I appreciate y'all. In the chat, please try to keep your language down. Please keep your language down. You know, sometimes my son be sitting here and people have their children there. If y'all come on the platform, please adjust your language. I know sometimes we get worked up and we got to go in to make a point, but let's keep it to a minimum. We smarter than these hoteppers. These hoteppers, they lose control. I just get worked up. I get excited. So with that, family, everybody put the thumbs up for me. Definitely, Romy Rome! Romy Rome! Romy Rome had me laughing. So if y'all see me in the chat and I was laughing at Romy Rome. Another thing, man, I want to give a shout out to Darren Marion. Man, he sent something through the PayPal. He said a little support in the PayPal. If y'all support Moorish World TV, I don't do the fast chat or the super chat anymore because you end up paying most of it to YouTube. So if you want to support Moorish World TV and give me more time so I can put some videos together, make calls, and bring people to the platform, please make your contribution at my PayPal that is at the bottom of the screen, right where you know, the description of the video. You can hit me with my PayPal right there, and we're gonna get this done. All of those who feel as though they're not getting a fair shake, you're welcome to come on Moorish World TV. I would like to get my brother Judah come on. You know, I don't like to get too much into the doctrine of what separates. What I try to do is try to get into what can unite us and what is more practical for our people. You understand? I mean, that's what we have to do. We need practical lessons. Jim Jones, I appreciate you. I appreciate Jim Jones. Brother, you came around. You came around. And I want to shout out to everybody, man. Shout out to the true. Let me say this one more time. Shout out to all my Hebrew Israelites in the building. Shout out to my true people that study the real lessons of Kemet and apply them to their life. As you know, my name is Tahaka Bay for a reason. I believe in my eye. I believe that it's universal. See this? Pull it down. See that? This is an old. You see, I believe in my eye. You know what I'm saying? I believe. Put that up there. I believe that we are all Hebrews, Hebrew Israelites. Hebrew is the language, Israelites. I believe that we are all Moors. I believe we descend from the same stock, the same group. I believe that we separated into tribes, into clans, but we all come from the same root. And so ultimately, we all got to at least be able to accept another person's tribe, another person's clan, another person's ideal. If it's unifying, then we got to rock with it. But if it's calling people B, if it's cussing people out, if it's trying to find out how can I start a debate so I can take care of this project building that I live in, Sinetta, making all this money, all these debates, don't even know how to purchase a house, but know how to purchase a 500. Come on, man. And all of those people that subscribe to Sinetta TV, he got over 100,000, I think he got. I think that's what he got. But couldn't get $30,000 for a van. Couldn't get 10,000. You know what that tells me? He got over 80,000 people being entertained and nosy. And he don't have 10,000 people that he might got 8, possibly, or 5 who support him. Who support him. Don't nobody support that nonsense. They go there to be entertained. Entertained. That's it. That's it. HOK is entertainment. They're the next reality TV show. But they out the door. They on their way out. They on their way out the door. We're going to put quality programming up here. And when we bring somebody with some comedic thought, we're going to make sure they know what they're talking about, and we're going to make sure that they live it. They are going to be an example of what they're teaching, as opposed to just talking. And then when you ask them to demonstrate justice, when you ask them to demonstrate justice, they refuse to do it. So with that, the sign that I live in a project, it might as well put it like that. But thank y'all, family. I hope y'all subscribe to the channel. I hope y'all come in next time. Every Thursday, we're going to do a surprise show on Thursday, man. I like Thursday. Thursday was pretty good. I appreciate you. I want to thank my brother Zion Lexx. I want to thank my brother D Red. And we're going to do this again. Anytime them hoteppers go crazy, we're gonna address them right here. This is the hotep checking channel. This is the hotepper checker. This is no Thursday night is going to be called the hotepper checker. Moorish World TV turning into the hotepper checker. That's it. Peace and love, family. I appreciate y'all. I see y'all next time. We be on Sunday, and we're going to talk about this other hotepper. Matter of fact, if you're around, let me share this picture with you. Let me share this picture with you real quick. We got another hotepper that we're going to address. This hotepper here, he's going to be on he's not going to be on. We're going to address him. This hotepper here, he right in DC, and he claims that more means dead in Ma'at, or I mean, I'm sorry, in hieroglyphics, in the Medunecha. More means dead. Now, I'll tell you, they call more pseudo, but some of the most pseudo people I ever met was out of the hotep community. I ain't talking about Kemetic community. Nah, not because I don't even want to do that. I'm talking about I want to get a new name, you know, for these hoteppers. You know, they come up with so much stuff. This brother did a whole presentation talking about Moors mean dead. And I bet you haven't fed one homeless person in that neighborhood. But anyway, we're going to address him. We're going to address him. You know, we're going to address him on Sunday, and we're going to bring some qualified, educated. And the brother that I'm going to bring in here, he ain't no hotepper, but he know Medunecha. And he's ready to unite with everybody that want to uplift fallen humanity. That means Hebrew, that means Moors, that means everybody. That doesn't mean he agree with everybody, just like me. That doesn't mean I agree with everybody, but we are to unite one way or the other. And with that, roll, salute. Love y'all in the chat. Peace and love. Peace and love. Amen, Hotep. I see you next go around. I'm up out of here.